Tim and Juliette Ross, thank you for being a part of Hey, It's Luskos today.
Hey,
We're happy to be here.
Super glad to be here.
Hey, it's the Luskos. People say they lusk it around.
They lusk it around?
Lusk it around. I don't know.
They must.
They
Get around and lusk it around.
must get
Yeah.
lusk.
I had
we
to
were
go.
actually talking about that because we don't have like a thing to call people who listen to our show. Like you guys have basement dwellers.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
true. Oh, we
Yeah.
gotta
Carlos
get you
Whitaker's
guys
got
a
his
name.
Insta Familia.
Yeah.
What's some of the other good ones? Lisa Harper calls her people the back porchers.
So
Ah,
back
nice.
porch.
So we were saying, like, what could you call, like, Luskets?
No.
You know? like, Luskrats?
the Luskateers.
Lusketeers.
The
Luskateers.
That's solid.
Juliette.
Juliette for the
Listen,
win.
yeah, we're here.
Our work here is done.
Luskets.
Bye, guys.
Great episode.
All right.
That's
Love you
it.
guys.
Signing off.
See y'all tomorrow.
Yeah, all good.
We're here.
Yeah,
Let's go.
we're here
Signing
for
you
it.
off.
Got what we needed.
The Luskateers.
Luskateers.
I know
mean-
we're going to get it that fast, but
That's
y'all can
right.
leave now.
I mean, there's design agencies that will have overnight vigils and not come up with 1/10 of the creative quality of that one
Honestly.
word.
Thank you.
Luskateers.
I'm
Fire,
glad you
fam.
like it.
I want that on a shirt right now.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
absolutely.
like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and
But
you can
printed
have.
on the inside where no one knows it's there, only me, and I can just smile when I look down my
And it's me.
neckline and then see it.
Your turtleneck?
It would take a fleet of psychologists to unpack the
This is true.
deranged quality of that idea, but it does bring me pleasure.
Am
I
a
wear shirts
Lusketeer?
where I can only see.
Like, what if you
'Cause I'm
started a
obsessed with my
company
neckline.
Self-encouragement. I
making
like
your
it.
like clothes, but only the screen printing on the inside for your pleasure only?
No, I'm
yeah.
about that life. I am
Yeah,
kind of
totally.
low key about that life because
Self-encouragement.
I don't like wearing.
I'm here for it.
I don't like.
Brands?
I don't
Yeah.
like being a billboard for
Unless
a
they're
brand.
paying you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
And
what is
then
this,
I probably
NASCAR?
would-
You know?
Right.
Then I probably
Right.
wouldn't.
Yeah, it's $100,000 a patch. Like
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
like,
That's
easily.
I'm paying you to wear your logo
Right.
walking around.
100%.
Yeah, no way. So like the Gucci's and the Fendi's and
Right.
all like the Louis Vuitton stuff. I can't do it.
Like, big Burberry.
No,
on
no,
Yeah,
it needs to be
no, thank
subtle.
you,
like
sir.
I need
Well,
somebody to
that's
be
with
like, "That's a
certain
nice
things,
shirt."
too.
And
That's
I'm
with
like,
certain
"It
things.
costs
He's not like that with
$250."
cars,
Well,
right?
the
From
number
where?
one thing I do when I buy a car is take
Do
the
you take the thing off?
the decal off from the
That's what I was gonna
dealership.
say.
They put a little sticker.
They
on
sure
it.
Yeah,
do.
yeah. And it's
You gotta
like, and it's
remove
always
that.
like the funkiest name of the dealer, like
Yeah.
David McDavid, Toyota, and you're like, I don't want David McDavid. First of all, there's a redundancy here I don't like. That's only broken up by
Yeah.
Mick.
Yeah.
I don't want to live this
What are the
life.
Highlands of Scotland? Yeah, what's going on
It
here?
is. It's too much.
That is funny. Yeah, get that off.
Yeah, get that off of here. Yeah, if I got to scrape it off myself.
That is
Yeah,
so funny.
I don't like
I remember
mine
I
on
was
my
buying a car
car.
once. They said, well, that last moment, like, well,
Yep.
we're just gonna go around and just vacuum it up for you and
Yep.
put the decal on. I was like, you can just
They don't
save
like
yourself
it.
some
That's
time.
right. They
He's
don't like
the
when
guy
you
was
take
like
it off.
crestfallen. He's like, whoa, it's the thing we do. We always do. I'm like, well, I'm gonna take it off the moment I get home anyway.
Levi, can I just stop and say,
They don't like it.
of all the words you could have used to describe this man's disappointment and dejection,
Yeah.
crestfallen.
Crestfallen.
And that's the top.
Yeah.
I think you're an author or something. Dude, you have a way
He was
with
watching
words.
the sunset
has
in
a
his. I watched the
way.
sunset in that man's
wonderful.
eyes. The
There
sun
it
was
is.
going
There
down.
it is.
man.
Crestfallen,
Yeah.
like you just blessed my whole life with that word.
It is a good word. It's a really good word.
Oh,
The way he looked at me,
crestfallen,
this
bless
guy
me.
just struck his puppy in the mouth.
This
you know, or
is
something
true.
Like that. It's like, what?
But do
With
you
a
go
hammer.
as far to take the emblem off? Like, would you take off Mercedes? Would you take off Tesla?
Well,
would
they
you
were
take
talking
all
about
of
some
it?
intricate workings of the car.
Yeah,
in some cases.
yeah. I don't care. I
They're
don't care.
You don't mind
illuminated.
just having a big hole right
Some
there.
duct tape on that thing. Yeah.
It just drove
It-
a little
I think it's a false flex of humility to like take off a Mercedes emblem and just leave duct tape.
a hole.
I
I don't really care, but it's like you still have a $300,000 car.
It's like
Right.
how pride is thinking so much of yourself, but then also when you're like, oh no, I'm the worst. Oh no, I'm the worst. It's
That
like the
false
opposite
humility.
It's the
side. Like,
opposite.
if
Yeah,
you were to do
don't
that,
swing
it's
the
just like-
pendulum way over
yeah.
there. Stop
You
it.
can't have that.
Yeah.
I'm always looking at
It's like
people's side eye.
one of my favorite stories that I've heard Robert Morris tell is of a guy that was preaching at a church, and he kind of had that false humility thing, right? Like, no, it's not me, it's all God. And after he preached the sermon, a guy came up to him and said, "Man, I really enjoyed your message." He was like, "No, not me, it's all God." And the guy looked at him and goes, "It wasn't that
It was
good."
not good. There's a lot of you in there.
Yeah. If it was,
If
all,
it was
God,
all God,
it should have been.
we might be in heaven right now.
That's
Like, I
right.
don't even think
That's
why would
right.
there would be no need for an altar call.
Yeah,
Every
that's
crown
true.
would have been cast down, and we'd have been on our knees.
This was an interesting thought. Someone just said to me, now to kind of shift gears a little more serious, like humility. Someone said in passing, like, do you think it's the cornerstone of all virtues? Humility. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, I mean,
Really?
it does kind of make sense, though. Like, obviously, there's wrong humility, right humility, but
Right.
humility does seem to be like kind of like a linchpin.
Yeah.
But the cornerstone of all virtues seems a bit.
That humility that it rests on humility.
Yeah. Shouldn't the cornerstone of all virtues be love? Right? But I think humility should be right next door.
They're roommates.
Or
You know
they're
what I mean? Like,
hugging.
they're hugging. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're hugging.
Yeah.
I think it has to be love, but
Well, because like the fruit of the spirit is
yeah,
love.
that's right.
And then from that
Comes
flows
everything
joy,
else.
peace,
Mhm.
patience.
Yeah.
But there is that humility that's needed.
Yeah. But I think if you have love, if you truly have genuine love, isn't humility intertwined in that would come with it?
But does the humility, does love flow out of humility, or does humility flow out of love?
Let's see.
I love the question,
Yeah,
because
it's
when
a
I
good
think about
question.
humility, I think about self-awareness, right? Like there is a nuance to humility based on what I read in Scripture. When God says humble yourself, there's a self-awareness component that He's implying.
Yeah.
Like you should know when you're not being humble, and when you catch that, you should be humble.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't want me to do it.
Right.
So I think that comes out of self-awareness. And so that's a very good question.
Well, I'm
Great
thinking about
I
the
would
Last
say-
Supper, like, because they were not loving each other, and so he needed that. Someone had to humble themselves to wash the feet that broke loose that humility that they then, out of the humility, would love.
That's well, then we're saying that the substratum of humility has to come out of truth then, because the truth is a person. His name is Jesus.
Yeah,
Like if we're going to get down to the skinny.
of course.
So really it's the truth, then love, and then maybe humility, or the truth, humility, and then love.
But I think the question was very interesting because you were basically prefacing it by saying, "Is it the cornerstone though of everything
virtue.
else?" Yeah, of virtue.
Of virtue.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
Because everything's kind of based on humility, and could you kind of out of a proud way do any other virtue? But when they're in their acting in their best, it's resting on humility.
You saying that immediately evokes in my mind Undercover Boss.
undercover boss.
The guy that
Have you guys seen that show?
Diamond.
No.
No.
Undercover Boss is they
It's
take
such a great show.
They take these people that own pretty
7-Eleven,
significant
any big
businesses or
retail,
enterprises,
yeah.
and they put them undercover in their own company as an employee,
and they
to
get to
see-
see
how their employees are actually
When they're not around.
around.
Yeah.
So they
Love
they
that.
put them in elaborate costumes
or
and makeup,
wigs. It's
and
terrible.
bring them into the organization, and it's like, okay, it's your first day, and you're going to help me make Subway
Yeah.
sandwiches, and
So they lie to the employees, thinking this person is
Which
on
isn't
this
a good
to do
virtue.
like a reality show,
It's a great
right?
show.
So it gets them.
I mean, it's a great premise.
Oh, yeah,
it
it's
tries
dope.
to
Never seen
not
it.
make the employees think this is the boss. So it's like a new person coming in. They're learning this trade because they're about to do a reality show, but it's really the owner checking in on
Yeah.
the employees
at the ground level, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, where
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
your
The person on
virtues
fries.
and your core values that you've talked about in the boardroom, does that actually translate to the end user?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or the end receivers that have to give that away, right? So there was a guy, he owned it was called Diamond Corporation or whatever.
Diamond Resorts.
Diamond Resorts.
Diamond Resorts.
So the CEO goes
It's like
undercover.
those timeshare resort spots.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So the CEO goes undercover, works in these different, segments of his organization. Then there's a reveal, and then you sit
the
down with, all the employees he interacted with. He sits down with them, right?
Oh,
This guy was the most generous man you could imagine, but that generosity was dipped in the acidity of pride.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
Like, so he's sitting down with people, right? So you just worked for me for like a week, right? Or I worked with you for like a week, and we sit down. I'm like, "Sup, Levi? Yeah, remember me?" And you're like, "Oh." Like, yeah, that was me, man. I heard you were trying to make it through school, because you said you wanted to, you're in school right now for communications and got a lot of debt going on, and so you're working at my company, but you're also doing Uber on the side. Here's what I want to let you know, man. I'm paying for all 4 years of your college. You can cry now.
Yeah, right. Need to be the hero.
Like it was.
That's exactly.
It was like the most.
That's exactly.
It was nauseating
Oh,
to watch
so
this dude
gross.
be generous. Like I wanted to project out vomit.
Yep.
Like I was so happy for the people, but
Yeah,
it was the grossest way to
it was.
be generous. It was so
So
nasty.
are we saying that that's 1 Corinthians 13 in action? He's got his body given to be burned, but there's not love under it?
Oh, for sure.
Totally not love. It was totally arrogant.
Oh,
So the
it
lack
was
of humility
nasty.
there.
There was total lack of
Oh my
humility.
gosh, lack of self-awareness, lack of
It was all based in
understanding.
pride and arrogance. You know,
Which is the first sin, pride.
totally
For
So
sure.
the devil departs from being the angel worship leader to being Lucifer
Yep.
through pride.
Yep.
Yes.
So if that's the first sin,
Well, the antonym would be humility.
and if that's the case, then that staying in place, because humility is an understanding of self-awareness, who I am, who I'm not,
Yep.
who God is.
Yep.
So could we say then that humility then undergirds everything if pride undergirds every sin?
So I mean, man. I mean,
Because like I said it to me, and at first I was like, same thing, like, no,
Yeah.
love is, and what
Yeah.
faith is.
Yeah.
But then I started to really think, and I was like, maybe
I think it's
humility is undergirding every virtue.
I think it's a great thing to just ponder. I think it's a great
is.
thing to do
do
some
they still
more,
do the elephant room?
more deep
We're doing it
thought
right now.
behind
This is
it. I'm
the
here.
basement room
Yes.
with the
Deep
Luskatiers.
thoughts with the
Luskatiers.
Luskatiers.
Yes,
I like
absolutely.
it.
But I mean, obviously, the role of humility in marriage, for example.
For
and you guys
sure.
have been so
For
outspoken
sure.
on marriage. Like, what role has humility played in the dynamics in the Ross
Oh,
marriage?
it's-
23
it
years,
has to
right?
play all
Marriage?
of it.
yeah,
Right?
23 years, 24
23.
together, 23 years married,
That's right.
23 and a half. Hey.
Yeah, May will be 24.
Yeah.
Come
And
on, a
then
quarter
we
of a
would be-
century.
Ain't that something?
And there has been and yeah, absolutely. Humility plays a great role
Yeah.
in the reason why our marriage is successful.
For sure.
For
If there's not
sure.
humility there, right? Well,
No one's going to make it.
brokenness,
Who shall be able to stand?
right? There has to be a brokenness. There's got to be a humility. Who
Yeah.
shall stand?
Who shall be able to stand
Who shall?
if there is no
Yeah. No.
humility?
I'm definitely not disputing, because I think it's a phenomenal. I think it's a phenomenal thought, and I think humility plays a dynamic role. I'm just trying to see, is it the cornerstone? You know what I mean? Like
Does
that.
it prop up? Well, a cornerstone keeps everything propped up.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I know.
So does a cornerstone prop up all virtue?
Well, you're asking, does humility prop up all the virtues?
What did I say?
Humility.
You said humility.
Does it?
Well, that's right. I'm not going to give you an answer right now. Levi.
Are
I
we gonna
gotta-
endorse this?
Yeah. We're trying to get.
put deeper
I want to.
thought
I'm
to
gonna
it.
call the notary. We're calling the notary, and we're
I
gonna
know.
notarize
This is
You
gonna be
want
official.
commitment.
Yeah, you ain't
want
going
commitment.
home until you
That's
put
right.
your name on
That's
this.
right.
So
I
here's
need to research and study that some
so
more.
so sterling silver can be worn every day, right?
Not in the hot tub.
No-
It gets tarnished. You can't wear it where there's chlorine unless it's a saltwater hot tub.
yeah,
Have you ever worn sterling silver in a hot tub?
no.
It turns
sure I
kind of
have.
blackish, like
Yeah.
a dark color. You got to take it to the jeweler. They got
and
to
then
clean
your
all that
skin
off.
turns underneath it.
Only that's brass. I think.
Yeah.
green.
Or the
That
cheap
ring,
stuff.
That's not real.
That's not ring.
That's not real.
We don't
Or
want
the
that.
cheap stuff. Yeah.
All right, so sterling silver can be worn every day because it is mixed with copper, whereas a purer metal, a purer silver, couldn't be worn every day. There would be much more upkeep that you would need to do for it. Okay, I'm going somewhere with this analogy. So, I feel like this whole thought process around humility, I would see it infused with something else
Sure.
to make up this cornerstone. And I would say the other thing that it's made up with is love.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even make them neighbors. Now I'm an alchemist, right? I'm like, we're going to melt down this love and this silver
I think it's
and
both.
See what
sprinkle
you
in a little copper.
Yeah.
And now you can use it every day,
Well, because
except in chlorinated
I'm
hot tub water.
You can't have humility in the hot tub.
There's no humility that
You gotta
takes
be your
place.
proud self in that hot tub. Swagger in the hot tub.
You got to have all of your pride to get in a hot tub.
It's called the swakoozie.
the swag koozie.
Do you guys like a hot tub?
Oh yeah. Oh for sure.
You said, do we like a hot tub?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
heck
for
yeah.
sure.
Not with a ton of people.
Does a hotel hot tub make you uncomfortable?
Yes.
Me too.
Oh, absolutely.
Immensely so.
Oh,
There's not
absolutely.
enough chlorine
There's not.
that
And
can
maybe
burn away
that's
all those
why-
I have a
germs.
really hard time
Metal
enjoying myself in
gets
a hotel hot
green.
tub. I feel like I just feel
Do you
very
feel better if you're
I
by
do too.
yourself or like with just Jen, or are you on? Or is it uncomfortable
I-
when others are there,
Most of the time, I'm thinking about what's in the filter, like what's
or if
in
the filter's been cleaned?
not just
No,
what's in it,
you
like
just
what's in that
what's
filter.
in
I don't
it.
want to know
Lord mercy.
the Band-Aids
just-
floating by,
Oh.
and I feel like these big hotels have these tiny little hot tubs. And I'm like, what's a foot here? What's the deal?
It's so nasty.
Yeah.
See, when you put it that way,
Yeah. We went to
Yeah.
this hot springs for Halloween one year, and I literally we went outside and we saw it. There was not 1 inch of water not covered in bodies, and
Oh,
we
there's
literally
no
looked at
way.
each other, and it was in 2020, and we thought this is how we get COVID. This is it.
And I
This
think
is
that
it.
is how I got
Actually
COVID.
did
This
get
is
COVID.
how
And
you
herpes.
get other people's urine on you. Right? Like that's how you get other people's urine on you.
oh yeah, 'cause-
If there's that much,
Yeah.
if you no,
and do
there's
you see
urine.
anybody leaving?
There
no
is-
one's leaving the hot
to go to the
tub?
bathroom.
Oh
That's
my
right.
gosh.
That's what's making it
and
hot.
and it's warm
But
already.
that's what's
and
making it
Your
hot.
body relaxes
I don't
in
enjoy
that type
it.
of warmth.
I can't pee in a hot tub. I don't
Can
like
you
it. I don't
imagine
like, I
how
don't like the
many
feeling. I
bubbles
don't
were
like the taste.
generated from the inside
Shower,
of another
yes.
human
hot
body?
tub, no.
no, a public.
Man, this podcast
Any
is.
hot tub.
all over.
I like
It's
this
all over the
podcast
place.
better than ours.
Hey,
Oh my gosh.
Luskos and the Luskoteers.
I like the
Everywhere.
less.
There's an energy.
Yeah, there's an energy
is.
here that I am for.
Okay, so we just got to go
I
around the
want to
table.
talk about this
are
recklessness.
Are we feeling
Are we
yes or no
cementing
to the
this?
statement? Home humility is the cornerstone of all
Okay,
virtue.
he wants a cemented answer.
I mean, initial thoughts, yes or no?
I just think of love is patient, love is kind. I agree. I feel like it's humility with love. I think love is like the deep soil foundation, but I do think that humility is the base of all those things. Love is patient, love is kind. There has to be a humility.
Is humility in that list?
Mm-mm. Love is patient, love is kind.
Maybe it's mixed into all of them.
I
Love
think
does
I
not
definitely think it's
envy.
mixed into all of them.
Love is not proud. It keeps no record of wrongs. What are the other ones?
Well, if love is not proud, then
Love is humble.
It is humble,
it is humble.
right?
Yeah,
I think they go hand in. I think they're.
it's in
Can
there.
you think
It's
of
mixed
one
in
virtue that still is its pure state without humility in it?
There. No.
But I feel like humility is like the outward. I mean, obviously it's inward, but if Jesus, who is love, showed humility, it's almost like an outward act of.
Expression of the
Of love.
Yeah.
that condition.
Yeah.
Everything God has ever done for us was out of humility. Like he didn't have to do all that, you know?
He didn't
Like,
do nothing.
any of
It
what
was
he's
like
Yeah.
if Jesus humbled himself to be human.
Yep. I think it's. I can't cement them.
Okay, we're not gonna
So
we're
we're
not gonna
writing
stamp
it in
It has to
Play-Doh.
be together.
Play-Doh because Play-Doh doesn't get too hard.
Can
Well-
we think of a verse that would refute the notion?
No.
Well, I don't know if there's just like one verse. It does talk about
More
Jesus
just
is
all
the
the verses when you add
cornerstone.
them together.
Jesus,
Jesus
is the cornerstone.
Of course, but Jesus was humble.
Yeah, but he was also the essence and the epitome of love and generosity. If he wasn't generous, we wouldn't even have. He wouldn't have died on that cross if he wasn't full of love. He did it for love, right? The greatest of these is love. So I think it's just, but I can't isolate it by itself. But I know what you're saying. In its
Yeah.
purest form, could it be? I still think
Jesus is
in-
the cornerstone of all virtue. We're gonna end with that.
Yeah,
It's
there
just-
it is.
That's not.
I think
That's it.
humility is the copper of sterling silver.
I think it's right there.
If love,
I
if
think it's
love
right here. I
is
think it's
if
right
if
here.
sterling silver
Like,
is love,
this. You see that?
what
Yeah.
makes it sterling
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
the copper that it's mixed with, and I would call
This is what
that
it looks like,
copper
Levi.
in this
Right?
context
This is what it looks like, right?
humility.
So
Yeah.
it's just right,
We were
just
very
like
close.
that. Right?
Hey, look, and this is someone I had known for all of 24 hours who said it to me in passing, and I've just been kind of thinking.
Oh
It's
no, it's
such
a
a great
beautiful thought
thought.
to brood.
It is
It
such a
really
great
is.
thought.
I'm
Because I
with
don't know
it.
that you can take every virtue and do that with. Because faith, hope, and love, right? Like hope.
Yep.
Sure.
Can you? I mean, they all tend to feed off each other in some way.
They do.
Yeah.
That's a great
I
question.
love this. Deep thoughts with the Luskos.
Wow.
I like this.
Musketeers,
the
The
Lusketeers.
Lusketeers.
as named here,
As
yeah,
named here.
yeah.
trademarked. Juliette Ross, 2022.
I'm here for it.
Every time it's used, a nickel.
Okay,
I'll take
we
it.
go.
need to talk about this. So the last time you were here,
Yep.
you would always we hung out, had dinner. You kept saying, "I'm here for it,"
I'm here
And
for.
honestly,
You did. You said it.
that
That's her
phrase
deal.
Yeah.
Jennie
it
started
just got
using
stuck
it.
in my head.
Really?
And I ended up preaching at our youth conference that year. I'm here for it.
Yes.
And where did that come from? What is behind that?
And what's the spirit of that ethos?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
You did keep
But-
saying it over and over again.
But
at dinner.
you know what? But that's just because maybe it's my extrovert in me. I'm here for it. I am. I just am. I'm here for all the things. I am a support.
Yes.
So it's like whatever you want to do, yeah, let's do it. Like especially if it's something encouraging or empowering, I'm not one to stifle people, and I'm only talking in the most positive ways, right? So it's like if you want to do something, you got it in your heart. I'm here for it. Let's go. What can I do to help? What can I do to support?
Yeah.
How can we make that happen? How can we let your dreams live big? And what can I do to help you fulfill that goal? Like I'm here for it,
Yeah.
right? Or let's do something different. Like you want to try something new? Yes, I'm here for it. Let's go. Right?
That's her energy.
It gives me all the life.
Love
That's
it.
Armor Bearer Jonathan vibes right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, for sure.
I'm here for
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
You want to
wanna
go up?
Yeah,
Let's go
absolutely.
up. Yep.
Want to go take on a whole
Wow.
garrison by yourself?
Absolutely.
Let's
Just the two of us.
go.
Seems like a good day to die.
That's right. Let's go.
Well,
I would like
ever
to experience a
since-
glorious
I
death.
love that. I love that.
But you're just inspiring in that way. But
Oh,
ever
thank
since
you.
we met in
Australia.
2017
Yeah.
in
Mhm.
Australia, time spent with you has just always had it just made an impact on my heart. So.
You guys have different
Aw,
spirits
that's
in you
super
for sure.
sweet.
Yeah.
Thank
Being
you.
around just from the jump, there's a sense of
Oh,
kindness
Yeah.
and strength and
Humility.
thank you.
humility.
Humility.
What if you find out later, like this episode brought to you by humility? Like it was all a paid promotion.
And it's a new book that you're coming out with.
I had no choice. So like I just randomly turned to the camera like, so for 5 easy payments of $99.99, you can buy my masterclass on humility.
my
That's
gosh,
why I was
I
trying to
love
get
it.
you to say it
I
is.
know. He's trying to cement it. I don't know.
That was a 2-hour pod.
I have a new seminar called Humility, the Cornerstone of All Virtue by Levi Lusko, Incorporated.
I love it.
But I couldn't get these kids to
Trademark.
commit. They're too deep.
That's right.
So Tim, what'd you say?
Throw another one out there.
Oh, that's
It's like my
hilarious.
daughter.
I love
Daisy,
it.
She came out to me one day and she goes, "Dad, could you sign right here?" And like, it said something on the top, and I noticed the paper was folded. And she wanted me to sign it. It was already dated.
Without reading
and
it?
I unfolded it. It was this whole contract. She was like trying. I was like, "Honey, this is technically fraud. I mean, this is extortion. There are a number of laws that are broken here."
This is funny though because she received something in the mail from a friend, our friends. So she opened it, but she didn't want you to film her opening it and reading it to put on Instagram. So what it said was,
This whole contract.
I will
was
read this, but I will not be put on Instagram
social
or
media, TikTok,
social
Be
media.
Real,
my
YouTube, Spotify.
She was ensuring that she was
But the
going
way
to
she
be safe.
folded it,
Yeah,
I was
love
just
it.
signing on the dotted line, oblivious
That's
to
right.
what was actually.
Because she
That's
knew that you
hilarious.
might not agree to those standards.
Read
Yeah.
the fine print, people.
That's right. Oh, I
You got to
love
read
it.
the fine print, especially when it comes from your kids.
But how do you like when you're agreeing to the new user agreement for the Apple update? You
too
scan
much,
down, like
fam.
what is in this?
Dude,
and I'm saying
when it's
yes
that
to?
long, I'm just like,
And I'm such a
I'll
I'm a
be
stickler
here for the
reading.
class action lawsuit
Yeah.
later. Except, like,
Because do you know how many class action lawsuits I'm in?
Are you? Are you in some?
girl?
I get them
This
in
is-
my.
I am in
today
a couple.
years
I'm in a
old.
couple too. I
That's
believe.
what you-
Who am I
I
married?
got a couple I'm really excited about. I'm really hoping to retire on.
I hope it's not mesothelioma.
I don't have mesothelioma. But they're in my email all the time. Like, you
so
bought
true.
this or you did this, and you're automatically a part of this class action lawsuit.
Did you buy a baby
And I'm
Bjorn
like-
between 1998 and 2001? You're like, I did.
I'm like, that's what happens all the time. I'm probably in like 6 of them. I'm
And
still waiting for the
Recalls
payout,
make
though.
me nervous too.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Well, I've been a part of one. This is gonna expose like what I'm into. The only class action lawsuit that I am consciously aware of that I was in was one with GameStop.
Oh, you got that
I'm
GameStop.
so
That is-
boring.
yeah.
So sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm playing God of War right now.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sit for me.
I don't know why I get them, and I'm like, I sure did. And it's like, I'm like, are you targeting me? Is this a
Yeah.
scam?
Yeah.
But then, even if you do win, it's so many thousands and thousands of people
You're
that
gonna
that
get
dollar,
11
you're
gonna get $82.
$5.62.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
yes.
like the this is the dark side of the here for personality. You get
Yeah.
taken for a ride. Have you had your identity stolen?
Totally.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Here for
And
She's here for it.
But no, this is going to be terrible, right?
This is the best identity theft story of all time.
And I'm going to tell you why I was here for it. I know this is bad. I don't support identity theft. Anybody is watching.
She's breaking all the
Speaking of-
walls.
Not-
I don't
I
This
do
message
not-
brought to
I do
you
not
by
support
Identity
it.
theft.
Okay.
I did some identity
McAfee.
that's like, I wanted
If
to be
identity
supported.
theft was a person,
Yeah.
dang it. Or how can I target her? So a few years back, right? This is so crazy. So I got my identity stolen. Didn't know. But just noticed that my credit score went like all the way down. I don't do credit cards and stuff like that. So I was like, what? I look on here. I look at my credit score, and it was like a $39,000 purchase, like all in one, right? And it dropped my credit score down to like 5 something. And then I was like, I'm going to take care of this, right? But I didn't take care of it right away. Maybe a year later. Maybe 2 years later went by. But here's the thing.
2 years later.
Let me tell you what happened. I did not take care of it because my credit score started going back up. Like these people started paying their bills.
They paid the bills.
These are
They
the most
paid
responsible
the bills
identity theft
every
people.
Good
month.
identity thieves. Yeah.
Every month there was a payment going back. And the credit score was like, your credit score is back increasing again. Like they stole it and took responsibility. And so I was like,
They pay their bills on time.
Upstanding criminals.
yeah,
Those-
I was like,
those
criminals'
criminals pay
lives
their
matter.
bills.
Smooth criminals. You might
Criminals'
say.
lives matter. It was terrible. I know. And I was like, y'all, criminals' lives matter. And I was like, they probably needed a car. They probably bought, it was a big purchase. They probably bought a car. They probably needed something for their family. And I was like, do I need my credit score right now? Maybe they need a
Maybe
good
they need it
credit.
more than me.
Maybe they need it more than me. And because they were being responsible with it, I was
Let me
like,
tell you something. Her Christianity is above
I was
mine.
like, they
Nice.
need it.
Oh my
And then it was like the moment that they stopped paying, then I'd be like, all right, you can't do wrong by me. So if
Uh-uh.
I'm letting you get away with this, you gotta live this.
This is-
You gotta live this life
Listen.
right.
Wow.
So this is probably super terrible, but you know what? Like my credit score has just went back up, and I don't know what to do because I'm like, they're paying their bills.
Juliette has an 810 credit score because of
I
criminals.
know.
Wow.
I was like, these criminals' lives matter, isn't it?
Whoa,
It's an
criminals'
outrageous.
lives matter.
Criminals' lives
That's
matter.
where we're.
I said those criminals' lives matter.
Taking it there. That is hilarious.
I know it's so bad. I'm so sorry,
Well,
Luskos.
Jenny's had she's had her identity stolen multiple times as well.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
if
so
She has a
invasive.
face that says, "Take advantage of me."
Oh,
you
that's
know?
so bad.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of it, right?
No.
And especially if
It's
they
a
don't
mess.
do right by
Mess.
you, right?
Right.
We
Now,
have not had that experience either.
Yeah. So in my actions in not turning them in, my action said, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So I was here for it.
Yeah.
So it was probably a
Wow.
few. I mean, it's
Was
probably
this a source
been
of conflict
5.
when you found out about that?
I don't even know when I told them.
Yeah, I think it's
I
Two
probably
years
don't really.
later.
2 years
I
later.
know that
Like,
it
this is
had
like-
to been going on. I know this had to be going on at least, we're in 22, maybe 7 years now. Sorry.
So wait, how do you have your identity stolen, but you still are? It's just took your information.
They got credit in her name,
They
but
got
they
it
were
credit.
making the payment.
Yeah, so they must have bought a car
Every
or
time you
something
say
big.
it, it, sounds like a
It sounds
sitcom.
worse than it did the first time.
The more you get clarity on it, the worse it sounds.
What if, like, down the road,
they
you-
stole her identity, purchased a product from Home Depot,
$31,000.
and they've been
That's why I think
making
it was a car. It's like
$62.83 payment
Yeah,
for
Shocking.
14 years.
they make
And
the
then
payments.
the plot twist is they're best friends now. They hang out all the time, but she insisted
They started
call her
going to the
Juliette.
church.
Yeah.
They start going to church. They pay
start
their
going- they
tithes
start
off my
going-
credit.
Oh my
Their credit has since boosted. I feel
Oh
like
my
I was
goodness.
a co-signer.
Look at
This guy's
God.
a co-signer. I feel like I've gotten their life on track. Their
That
kids
would
got
be
away
that
to
would be a
school.
good
She's
slideshow.
the godparent to their
stole
babies.
Juliet's,
Yeah.
we stole Juliet's identity. We felt horrible at first. Then we started paying back. Her credit score went up. So did our self-esteem. Like and we're
Yeah.
just all reading
Yeah.
it like, I don't.
Right.
Oh my God.
This isn't
I
right.
know, and you know,
Testimony
it just went on
service
for
is
so
over.
long. I just,
So it's still a thing.
I haven't checked it in a while. I just haven't because I was like, do I need my credit? And I think at this point, I'm like, if I need my credit, I probably should. Like, so now in the next season that we're going in, I probably should get it like and
Get your
check it out. Are they
identity back.
still doing right by me? And if not,
I think they need to go to prison. I think years later.
I think Dave Ramsey's eye is twitching.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
It probably is.
I think Romans 13, they don't bear the sword in
Yeah,
vain.
this
Juliette,
is true.
I'm telling
This
you.
is true. I know.
When helping hurts.
It's when helping hurts. I know.
Helping hurts.
Oh, I know.
When being
keeping it
here
real.
when being here for it goes wrong.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
In this
Oh, my
episode of
goodness.
He
I'm
really
here
loves
for
me.
it.
He just continually beats me over and over again. It's like, no, honey, you need to
Levi,
call the police.
that
I'm
is
just saying.
so different. We were talking about
I don't know.
the
They're
criminals
breaking the law.
only on my.
They stole-
We're doing it. Not all criminals.
There are 4
Oh, my
zeros in what they stole
God.
from you. 4 zeros.
4-0.
It wasn't like they took my wallet. Now that was different. They didn't.
That's true.
This wasn't. They borrowed.
Okay, so we
got
got to talk about the basement. I mean, just first of all, you
We're
rapping.
in a basement.
We
You-
are
but
in
I'm
a
talking about your
basement right now.
basement. We can talk about
Oh.
your basement.
But we are in a
where
basement
Where did this all come from?
Wasn't this
I mean, it's just
conversation already
unbelievable.
basement
Okay,
worthy?
we're celebrating 100,000
Yeah, bro.
subscribers
Yeah,
in
we
the
are.
basement
Fantastic.
We are.
as of
we
the
are.
this moment,
Like-
today.
Yeah.
It happened today while we were in a hotel.
Of
Maybe
course,
like
those
an
who are
hour
listening
ago.
now are checking. They're like, I don't know, it's 300,000 now, but today it was
Today,
100,000.
dude.
So awesome.
Dude, I
Can
can't
we
believe
just
it.
celebrate that?
No,
Praise God.
absolutely.
Montana
Like, we
did
are.
it.
Which means you got a YouTube thing coming. They send out these plaques for
They do
100,000.
send out a
Yeah.
plaque.
It's like
yeah,
a
we're gonna get a plaque.
giant play
So
button.
great.
Yeah.
I love
We
it.
hit 100,000. So it's a very significant number. It's very meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers have names. Names have souls.
That's right.
Souls are
Those
eternal.
people you get to have in your family. Those are basement dwellers.
These are
That's
dwellers,
right.
man. These are people that have.
Who
I
knows,
mean,
one day
when
they'll
you
meet
think
the
about
Musketeers.
when you think about 100,000 people pushing a button to stay informed of what you got coming.
Content for sure.
If that doesn't humble you,
interests
Well,
them.
let's put it in
Then
perspective.
Seriously.
Nothing will.
Take the United Center where the Chicago Bulls play,
Yep.
and fill it up 4 times, and then add another like 17,000 people.
That's right.
That's that in
Wow.
perspective. 20,900
Yeah.
seats in that venue.
unbelievable.
So
fantastic.
think about that.
No, that's
It's a really
that's
big
humbling.
church.
See that in your mind's eye.
Yeah, I do see it, and I'm a very emotional person, so I'll start crying for.
Well, praise God.
Like,
for
it's
that.
unbelievable.
I
So-
want to hear all about it.
So super exciting. So let me give you the origin story of the basement. So when I was 30 years old, I was a young adult pastor at Potter's House.
Heard of it? Struggling church in Dallas.
Yeah.
Little or no platform.
Yeah. Country
Right.
preacher named
Right.
Praying
T.D.
for him.
Jakes.
Never heard of him.
He's trying to,
He's probably going to be all right.
but God
That's
sent me
right.
there. You know what I mean,
So
to help
funny.
him.
he chooses the foolish things.
Yeah.
Real bad communication skills, right? From what I remember.
Yeah,
It
like
is.
stuttering all the time. It was
Yeah.
crazy. But
Sarcasm.
I started there as young adult pastor, and while I was there, I had an open vision. I was not dreaming. I was awake, but it was an open vision. And this open vision, I'm walking down the street, and I'm approaching this building that is 100 stories up. Okay. Now, what's weird about it is that as I'm walking to the building, I can hear laughter and music coming from the 100th floor, even though it's way up there. I can hear that from the ground. Big white, like kind of like ivory white building, pristine. So I walk into the building. The lobby is very sterile, no art in the walls. It's just white walls all the way around. I step into the elevator, and there's a L button for lobby, which I was on, and right above it there is 100. There was not 1 through 99. It's 100. So I press 100, and you're going up 100 stories, right? So the higher I go up, the more self-conscious I'm becoming. I'm like, oh my goodness, is there mustard stains on me, or my pants wrinkled? I just start becoming very self-conscious. And as I'm getting closer to the top, I am intrinsically aware that the people on this floor are influential people in the body of Christ, faceless and nameless. So it wasn't like Joyce Meyer was up there and T.D. Jakes was up there and, Stephen Furtick was up there, right? It was just, I knew that these people were very influential in the body of Christ. Get to the 100th floor, the elevator doors open, and there's this long hallway, and then 3 steps, and then like the most palatial kind of upstate New York City penthouse layout, lavish, right? And then beyond that, there's a balcony, and there's tons of people, but down this long hallway. I step 1 step off the elevator. I cannot see this while I'm confined to, the point of view in the elevator. But as soon as I step off, to my left, there are bikini-clad women holding silver chargers. Every sin, weight, and vice you could ever imagine is on these chargers. To my right, dudes in Speedos, 2% body fat, holding silver chargers. Every sin, vice, weight you could imagine. And I'm thinking, oh, this must be the temptations you have to pass to be over there where these other people are, right? So I ain't got an issue with the right side, right? But the left side is like, stay away from me. You know what I mean? So I put my head down and I look at my feet and I walk in a straight line all the way down this hallway, go down the 3 steps, and I'm standing there and nobody looks up at me, right? Like imagine, like even if you're in a restaurant or whatever and you're chilling, you kind of look up when somebody comes in or somebody walks by. You break eye contact for a minute. Nobody even acknowledged my existence, right? Standing there for like 5 minutes. I'm like, man, this is crazy. So about 8 feet away from me, there are 2 men talking, and I'm kind of looking at them. And as I'm looking, I noticed that both of them are holding something from the chargers in their hands. And when I noticed that, one broke eye contact and did like that, like just boom. And like literally looked me up and down
To see if you had one?
to see if I was holding anything. And once he found out I wasn't holding anything, he just went back to his conversation. It's the only time I ever had any interaction with anybody. Nobody spoke to me. It was just that eye contact. So I'm there for like another 5 minutes or so. And then I'm like, I guess I ain't supposed to be here. Like it was just awkward. So then I go back up to 3 steps and the bikini clad women are to my right and the Speedo men are to my left. And I put my head back down and look at my feet and walk back to the elevator. Get back on the elevator. I'm about to press L and go back down to the lobby. And I see a button underneath the L going down that I did not see going up. And it's a little faint B. So I press the B. So I go down 101 stories. As the elevator comes to a rest on the bottom floor of this basement, before the doors even open, I hear laughter and people talking and music. And the thing that was very, very interesting about the 100th floor is it was only like the individual personalities, like no family, no friends, just these iconic people. Again, intrinsically, you know, they're important, but nameless and faceless. Basement, those doors swing open and everybody turns as soon as the door opens and they're like, yeah. I mean, they start cheering. They're like, oh my God. And they pull me off the elevator. They're like shaking me, hugging me, patting me on the back. Yeah, all of the things, right? Oh, thank you for acting it out with me, baby. That's so sweet.
Trying to give a visual.
Yeah. So they doing all like these things and they're like, oh my goodness. And one person hugs me real tight and they pat me on the back and they go, we are so happy you made it down here. Most of the people that go up there never make it back down here.
Jeez.
And scene.
Dang.
Division's over. And I'm like, Holy Spirit, what was that?
Wow.
And the Holy Spirit told me, he said, Tim, everybody's assumption is that they're trying to make it to the top.
That's right.
He said, I'm not trying to get people to get to the top. I'm trying to get them to the basement. I'm trying to get them to the bottom. Then he says this to me. He says, Tim, if Christ is the cornerstone, what floor would you want to live on? And I was like,
Dang.
okay.
The bottom.
And then this was the mandate. Get as many people to the basement as you can.
Jeez.
So at 30 years old, I'm like, discipleship. But I know I can only disciple a few people. So I'm like, whoever you lead me to share this vision with, I'll share that vision with.
Yeah.
And that's literally what I've been doing for 17 years.
Wow.
Anybody that we disciple and or mentor, we share that story with them. Basement is a philosophy. This is the way you live. This is humility, right? This is how you make it. This is how you stay together 23 years and you're actually in love. This is how you keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah.
With the humility.
With the humility, right?
Yes.
Product placement.
Brought to you by
Brought to you by
post-editing.
humility.
Right? Right. So, and then
I've never heard that. I've never heard you share that. That is beautiful.
Thank you, man. So you know, God has blessed me to travel the world and be on some pretty significant platforms and all that. And I've just always been like, up here,
And not just that, but also like the kindness that you show to other people doing what you were doing. Like there's a unique way in which you have a comforting presence and an encouragement to people doing things, you know, so it's not just even what you're doing, it's also the unique way that you've been positioned to, you know what I mean? And everybody I talk to, like if your name comes up, it's almost like, it's like a weight off, like, yes, it's like the sense of like you just being in the corner is an encouragement.
Yeah,
you know,
it's so kind.
Yes.
Well,
so kind.
you know, one of my like guiding principles is that no one will ever go unseen or unnoticed in my presence. Like I people are valuable.
That's right.
They need to know it, right?
Yes.
I'm running up on people, hugging them. I know some people don't even like hugs, but they don't even know they need them.
That's
like,
right.
People don't
Honestly.
even know they
That's
need a hug
right.
until after they get it,
Honestly.
and they're like, okay, that was safe.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Male or female, it's like that was safe.
Yeah.
You know, so for 17 years, I've been trying to get as many people to the basement as I could.
Beautiful.
And then last year, September of last year, at the month of our 6th anniversary, Charlotte Gamble came
as a church.
As a church,
Yes.
yeah. Charlotte Gamble came at the end of the month and preached this message. At the end, she called Juliette and I up and gave us a prophetic word in front of the whole church. And we heard the word and we received the word and we were like, amen, yeah, thanks.
I don't know about receiving the word, but we did hear the word.
No, we received it. We didn't know what it meant.
didn't know what it meant, yes.
So it was
I'm
like we got
joking.
this
I've seen the footage.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
We got like this encoded word, right?
Love it.
And then 4 days later, I was in a hotel. The Holy Spirit decodes it, and he goes, your time as a lead pastor is coming to an end. And I burst into tears. I'm like, what did I do? Like, you know, I'm like, did I strike the rock twice? And then you're like low key getting rid of me.
I
but
took
like,
nothing off the charger. Not a thing. Not a thing.
I wasn't
Didn't
even on the floor.
Take a Costco sample of
Right,
it.
exactly.
I kept my head down.
Yeah.
I looked at my feet.
It was orange
Ain't no
chicken on a
Speedo on
toothpick,
me.
and I didn't take it.
By the way, they have Impossible Meat and orange chicken at Panda Express now. Do you see that?
That sounds sketchy, fam.
No,
I need all the sodium.
Impossible meat is
I don't
good.
want it.
Like Impossible
I know,
Burger.
but I have thoughts about it. I feel like there's going to be some like story like. Turns out, you know, like some of the other shoes gonna drop. Unlike the Impossible Meat.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
I'm scared of
Meat is
Impossible
good.
Meat.
Do you like Impossible Meat?
Tastes great.
It's
I
the
do.
best one. I don't like
Yeah.
Beyond Burger. I don't like the Beyond Burger, but Impossible's number one.
But I keep waiting for some like article like, well, shockingly, like you know, like turns out, you know,
Yeah, no, I'm.
Eat it until that article comes out.
I
So-
do want to try the Impossible Chicken from Panda Express.
I don't.
No,
Tell me.
you have
Just-
a policy of not taking off the charger.
Yeah,
You can't do it.
I'm
I
not
would try
messing
the
with it.
Impossible
Do
because
you remember when Panda Express was always in the mall and like you
Yes.
would walk by and they would be given the same?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would never take them.
Chick-fil-A, too.
I'm sketchy on free stuff. When you passing it out for free, I'm sus. I'm like,
And-
You're
Got a
not
lot of
taking the
MSG.
Chick-fil-A sample in the mall. Remember back in the day, they would always have it on toothpick.
nah, fam. And I'm from the hood.
Yeah.
When stuff was free, they was trying to
It
get
came
you
with a
hooked.
cost.
It came with a cost.
came
It
with
either
a
came with an
cost.
STD
Yeah.
or a lifetime
Oh,
of addictions.
You're gonna
I'm
have-
telling you.
How you gonna get that STD on the toothpick?
Oh, there's ways.
Oh, okay.
don't bring that up in
Okay.
front of Tim, please. He'll
Yeah.
find some dark way to make
Listen,
it happen.
Listen.
Yeah. So
I
you're
was
not-
gonna be a
you're
homicide
not
detective.
You're not clicking homicide detective.
That's what I went to school for.
like full CSI.
Yeah, yeah. My mother worked for the LAPD for 30 years. So that's literally what I thought was going to do for with my life. Yeah.
Wow.
He's all about death or murder crime scenes and
Oh, absolutely.
Dead
Bloated
bodies
bodies
and
that have been in a lake
Cold
for
case, all that
oh,
stuff.
for sure.
I'm not here.
I'm here for all of that because I'm about justice and getting to like the why behind
Truth of the matter.
Yeah, why somebody did something. So
When a person passes away, he's at the funeral. He's looking to make sure they look good. And
oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
I go to the
can't.
wake. I'm
No
like, this
way.
makeup ain't right.
No
I'm like,
way.
this is not even with their skin.
I
They look
don't
ashy.
Deal with
Yeah.
the departed.
Take them back.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm not
fool
gonna let
with
my
the departed.
auntie have an
So
open
what's your
casket.
favorite? What's your
looking-
favorite series on that? Like TV show? Is there one that you have?
First 48.
First 48.
Yeah, first 48.
That's the crucial
Now
timeline
fooling
to find
with
them, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, first
I
48.
only deal
Golden
with the
hour.
living.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay, back
Charlotte
to
Gamble's word. You're decoding it.
Yep, I'm
What
decoding it.
was your thought that the
Sorry.
word meant when she gave it?
We just thought it was just an encouraging word about the future of our church.
Yeah.
Right? But didn't know the future was
be
didn't
that
have us
quick.
in it.
It was coming
like
to
as
an
lead
end.
pastors, right?
Wow.
So Juliette and I started processing that word about this time last year, right? Like October, November, December. And then
He burst into tears. I burst into war.
On the Holy Spirit.
oh
No, on Tim.
on me. Yeah. Listen, I caught all the smoke. I'm like, how come you just didn't whisper in Juliette's ear first?
Yeah,
This
right.
made my life
Make
easy.
it a lot easier.
Yeah. But we just had to process it and figure out what it meant, right? And we're trying to wrestle that down. By January, we knew that, okay, what's next for us is something like apostolic missionaries. Like, we're going to go and help some
Basically full-time
churches.
apostolic work.
Like, Paul only wrote to 7 churches.
Which
People
though
don't
is
even
for you.
understand
If I'm
that.
like writing what you guys do, that's on the list.
Yeah.
How to encourage pastors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
So,
really what we've been doing.
That-
definitely
that-
what he does.
Honestly.
Yeah, that's my-
You ooze it.
yeah, and that's literally my sweetest spot. Like
Yeah.
I platform, like here's what I synthesized with Juliette a long time ago. I feel like God has given me public platforms for private influence. It's
And I
like
know no
literally
one
like
who
an
likes
accelerator.
the spotlight less than you, and yet no one who we all want to have more of it.
Yeah,
than you.
I'm like, because I'm an introvert, and I'm like, choose them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he keeps coming back to me, and I'm like, but so we were like apostolic missionaries. So I literally got excited because I'm like, oh, I'm about to fade to the shadows, and I'll just help support churches and strengthen leaders. And if the leaders are okay and their marriages are okay and their kids are okay, they'll be okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm gonna be Clarence Avon, right? I'm gonna be like behind the scenes, and I was like really happy about that. And then in May, he tells me to do this podcast, and we have like another whole like, not fight, but I was like, I'd rather throw a penny into the ocean. I was like, everybody has a podcast. I don't want to do a podcast.
Yeah, not a fight with me.
No.
Yeah,
with the
just to be
Lord.
clear.
Yeah. I was literally like we had already embraced the transition. God showed us our successor. My successor's name is Tim as well, right? So his name is Tim Rivers. I'm Tim Ross. His wife is Janice Rivers, Juliette Ross.
Hello.
So like the initials don't
It's
even
meant to
change,
be.
right?
It was
That's
meant to
hilarious.
be.
It was meant to be.
All the
So
monogram towels can
That's
just
right,
stay.
they
can
can just
stay.
stay. The
That's
TRs can
right.
stay, right?
That's right.
The JRs and the TRs. So I'm like really like, I'm really excited about what's happening. This transition is like kiss from God. It is the easiest transition we've
It's
ever
been
done in our
great.
life.
Wow.
I feel like
Were
I got
they in the church?
no.
No.
Oh, okay.
He was at another church, but I was mentoring him. So I had to go talk with his pastor. His pastor gave me a release to talk to him. And so it's all been kingdom, beautiful, all the stuff.
And we love them.
We do love them.
Yeah, it's not like, some couples, one is good, the other isn't. No, they're both. They're
They're
both
so
great.
dope.
Yeah.
Like, and we like love them as people. Like, want them over
Yeah.
to the house,
Yeah.
hang out, bring the kids, chill like that.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
like
they're
a
just good quality.
they're decent for the church, but we won't be around. We'll probably be coming to Montana, and
No,
you
it's
know what I
not like
mean
that
for
at all.
services. Don't be
Solid
surprised.
leaders.
Yeah.
Solid,
leaders.
yeah, and solid people. So, but in May, the Holy Spirit was like, "I want you." Oh God, you're so pretty. It's the
Thank
eyes.
you.
So, I was like, I don't want to do a podcast. It's not my personality. And he's
How
like,
did you get that sense? Where were you? What was happening? What were you feeling when he first?
well, my friend, I have a friend named Byron Copeland, and he has like 3 amazing sons. One of his sons is JB Copeland. I've known all of these guys since they were teenagers. Now they're grown, early 20s and stuff. And so he asked me to be on his podcast. So I go, I think it was in April. I go and do the podcast. And when I get done, the Holy Spirit says, "This is what I need you to do." And I was like, "No, you don't. Like, I'm not doing no podcast, right?
I am not here for it.
I'm not here for it.
I'm not
Juliette's
here
here for everything. I'm not here for it. No, I'm
I
not
love
here
that you
for it.
said I'd rather throw a penny into the ocean.
That's exactly what I told the Lord. Because I'm all about like impact and effectiveness. And I'm like, am I actually helping? I'm an Enneagram 2. I'm like, am I helping? I need to know if I'm helping. If I'm not helping, why am I here?
Yeah.
Like, send me home,
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. So I asked the Lord. He says, do it. And I'm like, I don't want to, but I obey him because he's my Lord, right? He's not
Yes.
my advisor. He's my Lord,
Come
right?
on.
So I'm like, okay. So I'm flying to Denver to officiate my god's sister's wedding, Maxine's wedding. And on the way there, the Holy Spirit says, Tim, I'm setting joy. I wasn't even praying about it. I wasn't even thinking about the podcast. The Holy Spirit says, hey, I'm setting joy before you. And I said, what? And he reminds me of Hebrews 12:2. For the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross and despised his shame. And he said it again, I'm setting joy before you. He said, I'm giving you this podcast to make your transition from the church easier.
Wow.
And so I sat down with my team. Now they're my team, but Hector and Sam and JB. I sat down with them, and I'm like, I think this is what the Lord wants me to do. But I was asking all these questions. Like I asked all of them. I asked Mike Todd. I asked Robert Madu. I asked like several people that I mentor, and I was like, am I gonna be like the old dude that's posing, like trying to do a podcast, and everybody's like, why is this fool doing a podcast? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know,
A midlife crisis podcast.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm still trying to show you I'm relevant. You know what I mean?
Shaky old man voice.
Shaky. I promise you, I still got some juice left. You know, I didn't want to be that guy. And they were all like, dude, if you don't do this podcast,
Right,
like
hush.
So we started taping them all. We started taping all of the episodes pre-recording episodes in June, because in July we were in Turks and Caicos and on vacation for the whole month. I was on sabbatical. July comes. July 6th is the first episode that aired, and we started dropping weekly after that. 3 weeks, I had the worst spiritual warfare I've ever experienced, I think, in my life. I can't remember a time as a lead pastor I had been attacked like I was attacked in July. So I don't have...
What was it like? What did it feel like?
It felt horrible. The three main things that were recurring were fear, rejection, and insecurity. Now, I have a lot of struggles. Those three ain't it.
Those aren't the three?
Those are not on my list. That ain't in the top 10. That is not what I fool with.
Wow.
I got some demons. Those ain't my demons.
Wow,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I was offended because I'm like, what? I'm not even getting smacked with stuff that is like my stuff. You know what I mean? And so it was just like,
How dare you? That's
Yeah,
not my go-to temptation.
right? And
It's not my go-to.
and I'm on a sabbatical.
You're like mad at the devil.
Right.
Mad at the Holy
You
Spirit.
didn't even bring me nothing I liked. You know what I mean?
Right.
You brought me calamari.
Where's the charger? Where's the charger?
Him and his charger.
So I'm like,
Didn't even bring me the male Speedo charger. Nothing.
well, that ain't.
That one
The right
didn't
side
either.
ain't it either. So it was just a very disorienting time.
Wow.
It's like serious attacks. I'm like trying to endure it. I get through July. I come back August 1st. We do a pod. We go get like a report. Like, okay, we started on July 6th. That's where the first episode dropped. It's August 1st. Let's get a state of where we are. 25,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Dang.
I burst into tears. Like tears are falling into my omelet. I'm crying like my puppy got smacked in the
You're
mouth.
crestfallen.
Yeah,
You were
I'm
crestfallen.
I'm crestfallen. There it is.
This episode.
I was
Crestfallen.
absolutely
It's
crestfallen,
so
except
great.
this is like the best part of crestfallenness,
Oh, it's
right?
so great.
So literally, I'm bawling like to the fact that like it's that ugly cry where you can't even control it. The waiter is coming to like refill drinks. We connect eyes and he just turns around and walks away.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want no
I
part
want
of this.
none of this.
Because Hector is Hispanic and like straight up like Mexican, right? And Sammy is like, looks like, he has a orange beard.
Okay.
He couldn't look more like a Scottish Viking,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? Like there's some type
Which
of...
I don't even know if they had Scottish
No,
Vikings.
they
so
don't.
he's
No,
perfect. Yeah.
but it's a mashup.
breed.
It's
It's
a
a new
mashup,
breed.
right?
It's really like a mutant.
Yeah, it's a mutant hybrid, right? So I don't know if that
And his
waiter
beard
thought
is his
the way
mutant
it looked
power.
in my mind, the way the waiter turned around, it looked like in my mind that he thought Hector and Sam like worked for the cartel, and then like they were hemming me up like, this is your last meal, fam. And then we putting you in the trunk.
Yeah.
So, sorry, my stuff goes dark, but
No, it's good.
I already
That
gave you the
homicide
disclaimer. That's
detective.
why. Yeah,
Yeah.
homicide
Did you
detective.
eat the omelet though?
Yeah, I did.
I was curious
It was
how
a salty
tear-soaked omelet would
Yummy.
taste.
It was
Added
yummy. It's
extra
better than the
salt.
wet
Yeah.
turkey
Yeah.
at Subway.
Oh.
The meat from the puddle of.
I just feel like it's
it's so
shaking. I feel like
gross.
that meat shakes
I don't like all that.
involuntarily.
I don't like all these meats sitting in water. You know,
Yes,
just
it's nasty.
brine. Yeah, get that out of here.
Basically,
So-
you guys with these food descriptions are the worst.
So I'm bawling my eyes out
It's like
because
everything from the hot tub filter got put into a mess.
Oh, the hot tub.
it's all mixed in
It's
together.
not right.
Holy cow!
I'm so sorry, Luskatiers, wherever this conversation is going.
Somebody's cleaning their house. Somebody's cleaning their house like, oh God.
Oh my gosh.
Various parts of this podcast disturb me greatly.
The pool guy that's cleaning a hot tub filter out right now is like, I finally feel seen. My life.
That's what we're here
see
for.
what's in these filters.
That's what this pod is
I've
here
been
for.
telling you, nasty people, shower off. All the signs say shower off first.
Oh my gosh.
So after I finish weeping, I feel justified and vindicated. I'm like, okay, July makes sense to me now. That spiritual.
Warfare. You're crossing a boundary line.
Yeah. I was crossing a boundary
Now,
line.
were you dealing with that stuff too in the same time?
That girl was in the ocean, living her best life.
And she got hit in the head with your coin that you threw at her?
Levi, let's
Tim.
go. How do you remember all these things?
Because
his brain is so great.
I think our minds
His brain is
are
great.
wired the same.
Yep.
I'm watching when somebody's talking. I'm not listening to them. I'm watching them. So I think that's what you're doing.
I saw you crying while throwing a coin in the ocean angrily, but then it bounced off the back of Juliette's head.
Oh my
And she
goodness.
hit me while
While I'm
thinking,
just swimming.
While she's in a canoe.
no, she was texting the other Juliette Ross.
Not the other
How's that $31,000 car doing, girl? You good?
Thanks for paying your loan on time.
That's right.
My credit
Milkshake later?
score.
2 straws?
My credit score is 770.
Here for it.
Hashtag here for it.
Hashtag here for it.
So from
Levi's
August
brain is brilliant.
from August forward,
Well, I was in conference mode.
Yeah.
He was in.
yeah, she
was
was
crying mode.
In
Yeah,
crisis.
was.
He was in crisis.
Crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I checked on him every day.
She did. Yeah. And so it was the only way I can describe this season that is it's beautifully bewildering. Like literally more people know me from the basement in 4.5 months than the 26 years of me preaching.
Wow.
Like I'm getting noticed.
What is it about it? What do you think? Why is the podcast medium so hitting people in such that way?
I think because he's very raw and transparent and just very almost maybe just saying things he couldn't say in a pulpit setting, right?
Totally.
So now he has the freedom to say things. And like when he's mentoring one-on-one, he's a lot more free to say certain things. And I think people just like that sort of rawness and that authenticity.
No filter.
Well, and
Yeah.
that heart that you have, people listening, it's like you're mentoring and you're discipling them.
Correct.
And even just all the 17 years, but also before the 17 years of what God has been doing deep in your heart and in your soul, it's coming out. And to do it in a way where it's not a 40-minute message on a Sunday, but it's like, let's just talk for an hour and a half. or
Yeah,
whatever.
absolutely. Yeah. So I appreciate you saying that because
that's what I think people
no, and you're right. The clarity that I had was that the Holy Spirit told me once the podcast started, the same voice that you've used privately to disciple and mentor is the voice that I need you to use publicly on this podcast. My response was, I'm going to get canceled.
Right. Right.
I was like, because you know how I talk.
I'm gonna have a punch card for my cancellations.
I was like,
my October
so-
cancellation.
I now know why you want me to step down from being a pastor of a church, because I'm about to get canceled anyway. So you're just preemptively doing it. But the truth of the matter is, what I've crystallized since then, because this has been fast, and in some ways it's been slow for me to be able to process and digest. Like, what am I doing? And I've been reading through the book of Proverbs, and I hear it in a different way now. I hear Solomon writing to his son, who most theologians say is between 18 and 25. And that's why he's given him this wisdom, because he's about to start his career. He's about to step out into life. And so what I sat down and told my producers was, I'm not talking to everybody when I sit down and start, doing this pod. In my mind's eye, I'm sitting down with somebody that's between 23 and 26. Psychology says your brain is not fully developed until you're 25 years old. So I feel like when I sit down, I'm talking to somebody whose brain is just about to come out of the oven. And just a couple of tweets could mean the difference between success and complete destruction.
Wow.
And so I'm not about to sit down and be like, you know what? You're just loved. I'm like, don't go out there and get hit by a bus, fam.
Come on.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's just very direct. It's very raw. it's really disturbed a lot of people. Like there's a whole segment of people that just now do videos about videos that I've done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're like, Paul's right here.
Yeah.
Here's why he's a heretic.
Do you love the
Now,
smugness when there's
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, this dude has pride. You know, I'm like, I do? Like, I'm like, let me slow down and watch
what
your
I
whole
love
video.
about your
and figure it
podcast
out.
is the way you're always just lean back. Like,
Oh,
there's just
dude.
this sense of comfort. Like,
Yeah.
there's just you're reclined.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm not coming after nobody. I'm putting this out here. You can take it
You got yours to hear.
or
Yeah.
leave it.
Yeah.
And so the 3 words that are like the drum beat in my soul when I sit down is heed my advice. Heed my advice. Heed my advice. Like, I'm 47 years old. I've been doing ministry for 26 years. We know some things.
Yep.
Heed our advice. You may not have any context for it. Do it anyway. Like, you know what I mean? And the way Proverbs is written, it's like,
Listen to my
please
voice.
listen
My
to me.
son, my
Yes.
son, listen to me.
Please
Yeah.
listen to me.
Yes.
Please listen to wisdom. Please stay away from folly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Please stay
Yes.
away from these people that will make you compromise your integrity. Like, it's like there's an urgency and exhortation. There's not this babying. You're about to go out into the real world.
Yeah.
And you can get punched in the mouth real quick
Yep.
and forget Jesus exists.
Yep.
We're seeing too many people do it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like I'd rather be misunderstood in my passion for people to heed the advice than to be not even taken seriously because I won't even call a spade a spade. So that's the skinny.
It's exciting.
That's
I love it.
amazing. Praise
Yeah.
God.
He's in his happy place when he's doing the basement.
In the lab.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I did say after the first episode, I said to Hector and Sam, I said, if this is what God's calling me to do, we were in the green room of the church. And so the door that leads out to the sanctuary and then the platform, I said, after the cameras went off, I said, if this is what God's calling me to do, I never have to stand on that platform again. And I meant it.
Yeah.
Like, it was like,
You're good.
this is my sweetest spot. I love preaching. I always love preaching. It's great. But you let me sit down one-on-one. Like, so we have a Google form that people can fill out that want to be on the show. If they're out of state, all expenses paid. We bring them in, sit down with them. They give us the gift of their vulnerability. They get to talk about whatever. I don't lead it. I don't have like this is where we're going to go. We just sit down like we did here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
where are we
There's no
going?
script.
Well, we're going to start with humility and then talk about shaky meat and
Pawns and coins.
right, all kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
Over 1,500 people have filled out that Google Doc form.
Dang.
Wanted to come on.
Wanted to come on. And so we've talked
That's a
to
lot of
ex-porn
people.
stars. We've talked to bisexuals. We've talked to people that have struggled with anxiety. We've talked to people that are in the entertainment industry and how they've held on to their faith. Like it's very much this Medici effect where you're literally like, me plus Snoop Dogg would be what? I don't know. Let's get him in here. Let's see if he'll come down to the basement. You know what I mean? Me plus Martha Stewart would be what? I don't know. Let's get her down here.
Yes.
Let's see.
Awesome.
Me
Might be
plus
cooking
Vanna
something.
White would be what? So it's like we get to talk to these people that want to be mentored, but then we get to talk to these influential people that we can learn a lot from.
Wow.
We're inviting everybody down to the basement. A lot of people don't want to be down there, but we're just say, will you visit? I mean, you may like the 100th floor. You may say, I got something in my hand I don't want to put down.
Yeah.
But at least we invited you down there.
Yeah.
So it's not a conversation in this like kind of homogenized sense of like everybody thinks the same thing and I only bring people on that agree with me. But I'm not fighting nobody either though. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of YouTube personalities out there that's like, they
And to
want
watch
the
that
smoke.
grow. And from then to now to have just today hit that 100,000.
Yeah, we hit 100,000 and we're not clickbaiting nobody into a fight. You know what I mean? We're not trying to like, and then making like what I just said with Levi was shocking.
Yeah.
Watch it. And everybody's like, click. And then they were like, y'all talked about shaky meat. And, you know, so anyway, I'm loving it. We're loving it. And there's a lot.
It'll watch to see what that morphs into, what it becomes.
Yeah,
how
exactly.
where God takes that.
Yeah.
And this is the
I think it's just a
ambiguity.
stepping stone.
It is.
Yeah.
And this is the ambiguity I can see myself doing this pod for 20 years. And there's way more we don't know than what we do know stepping into this next season. Like we don't have it all figured out.
I love the medium. I love the format. I love the long form especially.
Me too.
I don't like
Same.
that 25-minute. You know,
I
it's fine
don't
for it,
either.
but where it's all careful. You know, I love just that it can meander and it's a different side of people.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I'm a naturally curious person, so I'm itching at the chance just to talk to people, like you said, learn. And,
Yeah, and I try to tell people all the time, everybody doesn't have ADD. You know what I mean by that is everybody's not like, okay, give me 5 minutes and then I got to move on.
Yeah.
Everybody's not like that. I
Correct.
mean, all Star Wars fans are not like that.
Come on.
You know
Lord of the
what I mean?
Rings fans
All Lord of the
are
Rings
not
fans
like
are
that.
not like
The
that.
latest Batman movie.
Yeah.
Those
Wakanda
people
Forever
are not.
was 3 hours.
Yeah.
That's a
So
long
there
movie.
are people that like longevity and like a thought fleshed out.
Yes.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
guys, you guys see
Just the
Wakanda, by the way?
Not yet.
This coming weekend is when we're gonna go see it.
Yeah, as soon as we can.
With the boys.
Fantastic.
With the whole family.
Are we taking the whole family? I don't know.
I don't know.
So
Sometimes we like to screen first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's pretty clean. I mean, it's
Better than
the last two Doctor Strange was so weird horror.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what
didn't
everybody
see Doctor
said.
Strange.
Whereas this, you never know these days. but
Yeah.
this
Yeah, you
one,
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were gonna spare our 2 hours and watch it first, and then make sure it was safe for the
I gotta
kids
say,
to see. But if
hot
it's
take,
good,
man,
then good.
I don't enjoy the movie theater. I don't enjoy it.
Well,
I think I got spoiled being at home.
Yeah, when you're at home, you got.
I liked when they were releasing stuff
pause it.
straight to
me
home.
too. You
first.
took the words out of my mouth.
100%.
So I've been we went and saw The Chosen, wanted to spoil all that.
Yeah.
Went to Wakanda.
Yeah.
And I don't like the chair, how upright it is.
Yeah.
So if you're in a movie theater, it's like the lie down one maybe.
Yeah.
But
Do you like the recliner one?
I do, but
Okay.
we don't have that here.
Oh,
Okay.
you don't have it?
Yeah.
We have
No.
one.
That's the
movie
only.
theater.
That's the only one we go to now.
We're at like Cinepolis or whatever. Is that
Whatever they bring food. Like
bring
I feel
food
like
to
a
you.
king
That one
in
is
like a
amazing.
15th century.
Yeah.
like a
Yep.
throw?
Bring the finest
I don't
meats and cheeses for all of my servants. That's how I feel when I lay down there and they're like, entertain me.
Yeah.
Where's my crowd?
Russell Crowe,
Yeah.
entertain me.
I think there's
Brad
very
Pitt,
few
do your
theaters.
thing.
Are you not
Yeah.
entertained?
Bring me more meat and cheeses.
Yeah. The minstrel comes in. Like
Yeah,
that instrument
exactly.
you've never seen
There's a
before.
jester juggling.
It's like, is that a liar?
I'm not watching trailers. I want to see someone do
liar.
cartwheels. 17 of them.
Yeah, but other than that,
Six
if
consecutively.
if not that, home.
Yeah, for sure.
That part.
But not in between.
But not in between.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't have a lot of those here.
No, just the one Walmart, the one movie theater. Yeah.
One Costco.
Yeah.
This makes me want to be like, I should bring a movie theater.
Bring a
here.
dine-in
See,
movie
Juliette
theater.
will
Yeah,
start
I'm
a
here for
business in a
starting a
minute.
business.
And
for
it's a cold, long
sure.
winter. Plenty of time
I'm
to.
here for
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay, so Julie, what's taking your time up these days? What are you pouring yourself into? What are you enjoying
Oh.
besides
I-
managing your identity theft
Managing my
situation?
identity theft situation. Yes, that's a big part of it.
Your soul
Made me
sister.
snort.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's real
I knew
funny
it was
when I
coming.
She's like
snort.
the paperwork. The
paperwork.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
she
keep
declared me
checking.
dead. I have to bring myself back from the grave.
How's this credit score looking? Are we still in the eights? Are we right at 800?
That's funny.
Oh my goodness. It's really kind of closing out the Embassy City season. It's
Yep.
kind of really what is occupying my time now. And trying to at least think about what next year is. You know what I mean? And what that looks like. And I know we've got a marriage thing that we're going to be doing. You know, we're going to be definitely doing this like marriage university. And
Is there details for that you can share?
I think so.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so a lot of people like when we talk about marriage stuff.
Yes.
Right? And
We
so
would be on that list.
We are on that
Yeah.
I don't know
Thank
that
you.
there's better speaking
Honestly.
to it.
Oh,
You guys
thank
talking
you.
about it.
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank
so
you so much.
so we on the podcast, you know, they're very much like, hey, like anytime Tim brings up marriage stuff, it's like, and when are you coming to do some marriage things? But I wanted it to be a little bit more concise. And so we want to do like a marriage university. So it's like we'll go in there and tape all things that have to do with communication, however long that looks. You know, that could be 9 chapters, 16 chapters, whatever it is. Then we can have one on blended families and then one on, you know, all these things, love, foundations, affairs, whatever, right? And how to navigate those and try to just really exhaust ourselves and give them everything we have in all these marriage tools. I think we can offer them an entire package, and or they can just get what they need. Because some people may be like, I don't have a blended family issue, but I have a communication issue. You know what I mean? Or something like that. And there could be things that are just foundational. Like, it almost doesn't matter. Communication is a foundational thing. Finances is a foundational thing. You know what I mean? In any marriage, no
Family
matter
of origin
what.
stuff.
Oh, yeah,
no
for
matter
sure.
what the situation is. Even if it is blended family, it's still a communication issue. You know what I mean? If it is finances, it's still a communication issue. So you'll have your very core things, and then maybe some one-offs that they could buy, individually. But we want to kind of put that exhaustive content out there, no matter what it is. We just want to give ourselves to that, and then just let them go and have at it as much as they
Yeah, it
want
could
to.
be
And
evergreen.
then on the podcast, evergreen. And then maybe on the podcast, just locally, we can just do some things where we'll invite some guests on, like maybe we can offer them some guidance or advice if them and their spouse want to come on the show. We can talk to them, almost have like an open marriage counseling with them that would be aired. We'll probably just talk about some things in our marriage as well. Just simple things that could maybe help them in the now until we can put that content out. So that's a big thing. And then I was telling Hector today, I really cannot wait. There's a lot of things on my heart I want to do that just this space gives us the bandwidth to do it. But I really cannot wait to also do an entire marriage retreat center. Like that's really in my heart for the past few years that I've wanted to do. Where it's again not really big publicized. Like you got to know that you know somebody that knows how to get in there, but it's a for real deal. And I really started it was I really want to be able to help pastors' wives who are being abused and have nowhere to go. Right, and so especially in our community, so the African American community, the Hispanic community, just the minority communities, they don't typically go to therapists. They don't typically seek help outside of counselors. And they might, if they say anything at all, they might tell who their pastor, leader, or superior is, or one person that they feel comfortable that could possibly help them. But oftentimes, if that person is in the same boat, they can't really help them. So they're just like, well, you got to stay and just smile and nod or wear your hat or just, in church world, it's this whole thing of you don't get divorced, so you stay and you support the man of God and God will deal with him.
Yeah, right.
I'm not that chick. Yeah, I'm just not that girl.
So.
And so people don't have a safe environment, and I don't feel like they have a healthy community. And so how can I foster a healthy community for yourself, a healthy marriage community, help these men and these women not fall off the deep end, help them stay on the path, get right, and just get them back whole if they are to, because that depends on the person.
Correct.
Right? That depends on if the person wants to do their work.
Right.
And if not, I am not the one to tell you to stay in an abusive relationship. I will not hesitate to be like, how can I help you sign the papers?
Yeah.
There's Romans 13 again, right? Sword and vein, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's almost like I would love for it to be something that was free or so uber affordable if they're coming to do their maintenance.
Yeah.
If they don't come to do maintenance, and they just only come when it's crisis, that's when you got to pay for it.
Yeah.
Because you didn't do your work. And so now you're wasting our time.
Yeah.
Right? That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and we do not our time wasted.
Yes.
So there's I love it to where there's casitas and these marriages can come, and then we'll have like marriage retreats, marriage aid, therapist.
Well, and an online module people can buy too. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
amazing.
So that's something I really want to do, but that's a location I want to have where they can come. We found one a couple years ago. It's still like, okay, Laura, what are you going to do? Like, they do have these casitas. They got fountains. They got a whole basketball
It's like
court,
6 acres,
court,
big old
the
house.
Animals. It's got so great. And so it's like, Lord, if you want us to have that,
Let it be,
that
Lord.
would be, like we could make that a really beautiful retreat place for them to come.
I just thought about this. Yeah, I just thought about this. It's just now dawning on me.
What's the dawn?
The dawn is us stepping down as lead pastors is affording us the opportunity to scale everything we've done privately.
Yeah.
Like the basement is just a scale of
What you've
a
been doing
vision,
privately,
he gave me 17 years ago that I've been doing privately.
Yeah.
What we want to do for marriages is a scale of what we've been doing for marriages.
Yeah.
Like we've been
on
helping
ministry
people.
leader levels.
Oh my
like,
God!
I mean, you're. I mean, one of the sound bites you're so well known for is how pastors you speaking to him about loving. You love Jesus' bride more than you love your own.
That's exactly right.
Which is the saltiest,
Yeah.
stinging barb about being in ministry but not taking care of your spouse.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
I was leaving a young adult.
And you probably say it better than I just did. But
No.
It's right.
No,
it's accurate.
what you're saying is exactly what I've said. I was leaving. I'll never forget leaving a young adult night. God moved in a beautiful way. It was dope. And I was driving home, and I'm like, man, I just partnered with you to do like something really cool for your bride, and like I encouraged your bride and strengthened your bride and loved on your bride and did all this kind of stuff. Right? And then I'm like, hey, I want to talk to Jesus, right? However people feel about the Godhead.
However
or the
this
Trinity.
works within the Trinity.
However this works. I ain't talking to you, Godfather. I ain't talking to you, Holy Spirit. I'm talking to Jesus Cristo. I need to say something to you. We are now in competition. Because I will not have better words for your bride than I have for mine.
Dang.
It's probably too strong to say. Can I say damn on here? Like, is that?
I think so.
Okay. Especially in this context.
We may get a filter on the front, but it's
Okay.
okay.
There you go.
I'll be damned if I sermon prep to talk to Jesus' bride. And I'm going to be a loose cannon with mine. And I'm sitting there finding the perfect analogy and how do I want to communicate this so it lands and blah, 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 blah. And then I'm in here talking to Juliette reckless, just in here like, girl, I said what I said. Like, what?
I'm looking at him like, who is you talking to? Like,
it's going to get nuclear quick because she ain't the one and I ain't either.
Oh, my goodness.
So there's like, that's my... It's from the inside out. But it just dawned on me, babe, that like
that's the truth.
we're just scaling our private life.
Honestly.
I mean, it seems to me that what has been faithful in little is now being faithful with much.
Yes.
And what has been done secretly in the house is being shouted from the rooftops.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
God got you, and it's now you choosing to use these things.
Yeah.
You have no idea how many people we host at our home.
Holy.
That nobody would ever know who's there. And I tell them all the time, I said, if anybody knows that you were at my home or you were here for this reason, it's because you told them.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And so that's that.
We
And
basically
so,
have like a witness protection program going on in our house.
we call our home the Oasis
Yeah.
because we want people to come and feel like at peace and come and get the help you need and stay as long as you need.
Beautiful.
But if we get this retreat center, then they can stay there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
like
get
4
the help
miles
that
from
they
our house.
need.
Scale what you've been doing.
We can scale it.
We can
Yeah.
continue to
Yes.
scale what we're doing. So that's a thing
guys.
coming up. Yeah, I got definitely a few business endeavors I want to do.
That's
just
exciting.
just
Well,
business stuff that I like. And then, we did our first women's conference this year too.
Wow.
And so that was really fun. I think we had 711 women
wow.
for our first one.
Come on.
Yeah,
Super
really
dope.
fun.
It was
Yeah.
super dope.
And they loved it so much. So I didn't have plans for the next one right away because I knew we were stepping out. And so we were thinking about 2024 to put the next one on. But I know that that's something that it was just so great and so successful.
dope.
Everybody was like, we've never been to a conference like that. Somebody said, I got conference healed coming to yours. Healed from conference hurt.
Wow.
Past experiences going to conferences where people are just taken advantage of, abused, the volunteers are taken of, and we just made sure that everybody was not that this time. And so they love the concept. We had all these therapists come in. So we had main sessions where the 4 main sessions was the speaking. So it was the whole theme is step your game up, right? So your gifts, aspirations, movements, and expectations is the acronym.
Wow.
And then those were the 4 main sessions. But then in between we had the breakouts where we had like 8 to 10 rooms of like serious topics. Like if you had sexual trauma or victims of sexual violence, go to that therapy room. If you were if you experience grief, you go to that room. There was a therapist in there. If you have childbirth or postpartum or IVF experiences or just emotional traumas with birth, you go to that room. There's a person there. If you are in interracial relationships and you need to know more about cultural diversity and interracial relationships, go to that room. If you need a room on What's your purpose? You kind of don't know what your purpose in life is. Go to that room.
So good.
And that
Beautiful.
room. So it's just
It was
what
uncanny.
do you need, right? Like I wanted to
It's
have
got some
everything
depth
for
to it.
what
Oh my
you
goodness!
need.
Yeah, you had to show up to
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
do
to
your
do
work.
Do some work.
Yeah. But then we had fun rooms, right? So then we had those work rooms, and then we had self-care rooms. So then the self-care rooms were fun things. So we had a whole entire game room. You're just going to go in there and play some games. We had a makeup room. I had a girl in there just talking about all things cool, makeup, fun. We had a whole massage room and a quiet room. We had a quiet room. It was the
Love
best.
it.
It was like it was sold out first.
They sold out first.
Not sold out, but like
Signed up.
up for, registered for.
The quiet room was.
They
you
just
can't-
went in
no
there.
talking. You could not
They went
do
in
any
there
talking. You
to
can go
take
to
a nap.
sleep.
Yeah.
Yep.
They flew
You
from
go to
like
nap.
different states to come in that
Yeah.
room and take a
And
nap
take a
on
nap.
the
Whatever
floor.
it takes.
That's right.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, because how many moms
I mean, have
don't
you
get
seen
that
these
opportunity?
new things popping up in the airports? You can do boxing classes,
Treat.
nap rooms, get
Oh,
IVs,
at the airport?
It's called Treat. I think.
yoga. There's all there's
Wow.
it's popping up all
In
over
the
place.
airports?
In the airports. Like she's like, yeah, you can do reserve a boxing room. You go in the room. There's like a virtual person guiding you
Oh,
through
wow.
shadow boxing.
Wow.
You can get an IV. You can just
Some
they
B12
roll
shots.
out a bed. You can take a sleep nap in a.
I've
I would
seen
take
like
a
the
nap
little
for sure.
sleeping things, but that's amazing.
next level.
Yeah,
So it's a lot like your
yeah.
this is
Just
like- this is like
offering.
a digital counselor.
That's
here.
incredible.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Wow.
Well, that's very
So-
cool.
And so I know that probably won't be the one and done time. You know,
Sure.
that's something I'd love to
Yeah.
continue to offer and take on the road. And so this lady asked me, said, "Do you take it on the road? Can you come to our state and bring that there?" I'm like, "Give me some. Let me plan it."
Let's
you
think
know.
about it. How about new fun things together? Any new like hobbies, recreation, stuff you guys are taking on, or
We like each other a lot.
We do.
So we
I think we're
we're-
going to try to start traveling more
we would travel more.
across the world.
Yeah.
You know, and visit different places. Like the next trip we go to, not after the next one, but the next one after the next one. To me, I'd love to go to Austria.
oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
you
know,
guys
you
are in
wanna
season
do
with your
Austria.
kids, what 12 and 14, right?
12
Yeah,
and 14,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yep.
So they're going we're going to Australia in
Yeah, that's the next
in
one.
February. That's the next one.
Our family doesn't know yet.
I went to
Oh, they're coming.
Yes.
yeah, the whole
Fun.
family's coming. So
Yep.
I went to Australia 23 times in 10 years.
Dang.
I'm gonna
And
just let that sit there for a second.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
How
It's
many,
one of
how
our
many
favorite
miles are you
places.
sitting at on? Was it all one airline?
American Airlines. So I cracked I cracked 1 million miles on American Airline in July when I went to Sweden.
Full George Clooney status right there.
Yeah. I went to Sweden and I cracked it. And here's what I said when I cracked it.
She don't want you this again.
Two things. I said, Lord, thank you so much for keeping me safe for 1 million miles, because that's crazy,
Right.
right?
Mm, hello.
A lot of miles to fly without
That's
being hijacked, without
2 there
Yeah.
and backs to the moon.
yeah.
By the way.
Is that what it is?
What?
Two
yeah,
there and
the
back
moon's
to
Mm-hmm.
a
the
quarter
moon?
million miles. So
Well-
if you did 2 round trips to the moon,
Boom.
that's
I think Levi just
1 million
has
miles.
constant information of fun facts in his
He
brain.
does. It's just there, being
It's just
ready.
there,
Yeah,
ready
ready
to
to
go.
But think about that.
That's the phone a friend
That
for Who Wants
is-
to Be a
that
Millionaire.
is-
Who you
yes,
call
be
it?
on that
Levi
show.
Lusko?
Yes, 100%.
Sorry, I'm at Subway. Can't answer.
I love it.
Eating a shaky sandwich.
With salty bread.
Dry, crusty bread. Yeah.
Oh.
But and I said I don't want to do another million. Like I don't like this next season is not about like
He'd prefer if they came in
Yeah.
versus him having to go out.
Yeah.
You can come to me.
yeah for sure and then like just strategic places with people we already have relational equity with. There's so many great up and coming speakers. I'm not trying to be everywhere.
It's knowing your season, really.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because you just know
Yeah,
you're like I
totally.
know I'm supposed to be here on assignment or whatever. But yeah, this will be the very first time that we go to Australia with
As a
the
family.
entire family, and I'm not speaking.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm not even telling
this
my
is just
friends I'm
full
coming.
travel
Yeah,
trip,
yeah.
yeah.
Like so,
3
we're staying
weeks.
3 weeks. We got a house. This house is so fly.
Where is it in Australia?
It's off the Gold
Brisbane?
Coast.
Very cool.
Yeah. So we fly into Brisbane, go down to the Gold
Oh,
Coast.
yeah.
It's a mile from Surfers Paradise. House is so baller, and we got it on VRBO, and
Verbo.
I can't stand when she does that. Oh, it grates my entire soul.
Yes, I remember this
Juliette,
about you.
Juliette
That's what I say,
pronounces.
the acronyms.
Yeah, you can't not say them.
Juliette
That's
says
right.
acronyms.
AT&T.
She,
Yes, Levi.
I remember.
when I
This
tell
is
you
how
it
we
pisses
do
me
it.
off,
Yeah. What's
it
his
is.
the worst
favorite
one?
thing.
What's
It's
the
his
worst
favorite
I
one?
don't even want to say it because then she'll laugh and start
What's the
saying
worst
it.
one, Juliette?
No,
Trying to
don't tell
remember.
her.
What is it?
No,
I don't
I'm
know
not
it.
telling
He
her.
hates any of them
I
that
hate
I
them
do.
all. When I tell you hate them all,
I would have
I
to. I
can't
don't remember.
stand them. They're
so
He doesn't like
disgusting.
any of them.
I hate them.
I say
You
a
had
lot
that
of them.
look in your eye when you said it. Like,
No, she knows it. She knows she's being She knows. And then, like it absolutely bothers me. And then her,
Oh, he loves it. It's his favorite.
that's what she does.
Yeah. He
She
loves
completely dismisses it by
Totally.
saying, "Oh, you love it, and
You
it's more
love it.
fun
It's
this
fun.
way." And
That's
I'm
right.
like,
I'm cute.
"You are
You know
completely
you like- you know
dismissing
you
my
like me.
experience
Yeah.
that I'm
it.
having."
It is more fun this way, and it makes
and
life
that
more
part,
fun that way.
I always tell her,
Yes.
if she wasn't pretty, I wouldn't deal with this. People don't understand. Like, pretty people have pretty people problems. Like, you get away with stuff because you're pretty. If you was ugly, I would
What
not
would
tolerate
happen?
this foolishness.
What would you do?
I wouldn't be
Off-
here.
This is off-camera pandemonium. Yeah, everybody's losing their minds.
Everyone.
So what is it? What does the typical date night in America look like?
For
You guys have-
us?
yeah. Are
Oh,
you
my
homebodies?
goodness.
You out?
Oh, I'm
We're at home.
I'm an introvert.
Yeah.
He's
And
such
so
I'd have to get him out.
I get on the couch and I just want her to come lay in between me
We do.
and just put her head
And we'll
on her
watch
chest,
our show.
And we watch our show.
Yeah.
So we finished Better Call Saul. Now we're back on Breaking Bad for round 2 because it has now more of a fuller context.
Once you
Because
watched it, you did got to go back and
You
watch.
gotta
something
go
else.
get it,
Yeah.
right? So we love doing that. And
Better
then
Call
we
Saul
will.
was fantastic.
Oh my
loved it.
god!
It's a lot of death, though. It's
It's
a very
a
a
was.
lighter show, but so much death.
So
It
much death,
was.
so
Yeah.
much dotted line death, right? Not even
was.
indirect. It's like because you did that, dude had to die, and because you did that,
is. Yeah.
she's dead, and da, 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 da. So
I just always have to think this is packets of fake blood.
How good is Bob Odenkirk?
oh,
He
he's
is
better than
phenomenal.
people know.
Yeah.
Nobody?
is-
Did you see that movie?
Unbelievable. And he did all his own
Nobody-
stunts.
yeah, he
Got
did.
ripped. Got
Yes, he
Oh.
did.
and no
I was
cuts.
like, this is a real fight scene.
You never saw a camera cut. It
No,
was just-
absolutely. This
yeah.
dude was just squabbing.
Yeah.
wailing.
I
I
love
was like, these
that
are real
movie.
punch hits.
Yeah.
Yeah,
These
yeah,
are real,
yeah.
like real punch
And
hits.
if you listen to podcasts, he talks about how he got into that role and how long
Wow.
it took and
Yeah.
the toll on his body.
He's brilliant. Yeah, he's a brilliant guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to have
I
him.
think
I'm
people
gonna try to
sleep
get
on
him
him.
in the basement.
Bob Odenkirk would
He
be a
is
great guest.
He
Yeah.
is brilliant.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
So like
So
yeah,
those are our date nights now.
yeah.
But I definitely don't
Is it
mind
Uber Eats? Are
going
you guys
out.
cooking?
We don't cook on Fridays, so we do order Uber.
And that's your date night.
Well, Juliette opens
do.
a tuna packet.
I'm here for some tuna salad. It's just the go-to. It's
From
really
Subway?
salmon.
It's really salmon.
It's
Okay.
really salmon. But it's the thing is that I
They do have a
prefer
solid tuna
home
salad.
cooked from Subway. They do have tuna sandwiches. No, it's not that.
It's very milky, you know.
Oh, it's so gross.
Bless
Levi,
Subway's
you're
heart.
on punishment, Levi.
We are crucifying
Oh,
Subway.
Their stock is going to go all the way down.
Man,
Man.
it's not been the same
Gosh.
since Jared, you know.
Well,
Oh,
Jared's
the
not.
tree is
Jared's
dry.
not been the
Didn't
same.
Jared go to
since-
prison or
Yes,
something?
he did.
Did.
Gosh, bless him.
But I mean,
Oh,
it
man.
did what it was supposed to do for Jared's life.
for that season.
For that
Well.
season. Now, what Jared did with his life after that is
Yeah,
on
that's
Jared.
a stewardship issue.
I don't remember
that's
the
another.
crime. What was the crime?
Oh my
It,
god.
it has something to do with some kids. It was.
Yeah,
It
I
was
think
bad.
it was like
Okay, that's
It's bad.
something.
It's very
yeah,
bad.
it was really dark.
He lost that weight, and
Stop it.
No,
there was something underneath that.
It just goes dark.
Okay.
Just go
I think
dark.
it's very, very important for me to contextualize the fact that I did stand up comedy, and
This is
This is bringing me great joy.
and because I went through sexual trauma as a child, I had humor before I had Jesus.
yes.
And most people that have gone through tremendous, horrible acts of trauma have to find a way to cope, and humor was the way I cope with awkward. So if I'm not making light of
No.
anything,
We're
but-
not
but-
laughing at sexual trauma.
No,
that's
no.
For, that's for dang sure.
right for
No,
sure,
at
but
all.
I do make jokes when things get. I mean,
100%.
like we'll be at funerals.
we do. I have to find something to laugh at. If you're
well,
if,
I think
the fact that
more
I'm even
intense
there,
your work is, the more you tend to have like
Oh, you
gotta
better.
find
police humor,
Yeah.
military humor. The more intense life
Yeah,
is,
for sure.
the more you
Levity
tend
to
to
it.
find levity
This
just
is
to
true.
keep
yeah,
sane.
to balance
Well,
out.
just so,
Counselors are tend to be that
For
way.
sure.
Yeah.
just so you know, and I don't know where we stop this, but fun fact, I do tactical training.
Okay, I've seen some footage of it.
What?
I do tactical training.
Yeah.
What do you not do? Okay, so you were
I don't do
gonna
a
be
lot.
Everything else, he talks and he
Gonna
does
be a
tactical training.
CSI forensic investigator.
That's
Yeah.
just so intriguing to
Yeah,
me.
so I actually work out with a former U.S. Marine Scout Force Recon sniper. He was an operator, and he teaches us tactical training across pistols, carbine.
If your
and
kids need any discipline,
He
you
has to
send them to that guy.
somersault through
Yeah.
the course and all that stuff, shooting the
all-
targets.
all the
Yeah,
things.
Yeah.
He's
all
got
the
a bunch of
things.
acres.
I've watched some footage of you doing this.
Yeah.
What's
I-
your, like, you have a course best, like, time-wise?
No,
you kinda-
no. It's not to that point. No, this is like it's reenacted for the worst case scenario in the real world.
Sure.
So it's not like John Wick.
No, it's
speed
more
training,
SWAT movie. The movie SWAT where they're trying to clear the plane or whatever like that.
that kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So we clear
It's a great movie.
houses.
Da-na-na,
Yeah,
Listen.
shooting while
Here for it.
injured.
Set in L.A., by the way.
Well, Chief Daryl Gates is who my mom worked for. My godmother hosted the top brass at her house for Thanksgiving in Watts,
Wow.
California. And Daryl Gates is actually the man that invented SWAT,
Oh.
Special Weapons and Tactics.
There we
So,
go.
Very cool.
Okay,
So that's an example of something you like, SWAT.
yes.
I'm
And that's
saying-
his thing. That's
No,
what
but
he
that's
does.
a word that is an
Oh.
acronym, and you can say it.
I can say SWAT.
SWAT.
No, sweat.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you say it wrong, that still
But
makes you
SWAT
mad.
is still SWAT. SWAT
If
is
you're
what
not,
it
If you're
is.
SWAT,
Okay,
you're not.
so-
What's that statement?
Do your sons, are they into that?
No,
They need to be.
they,
Okay.
they,
What
I
are
yeah.
they
told
into?
him. I said, take them.
Sports?
They're into
games.
video games.
Video games?
They're like my oldest son is a full blown nerd. Like anime, video game nerd. He's a nerd.
Yeah.
Is
You know
he
what I
taller
mean?
than
Like
you,
Kinda
Dad?
guy.
Oh,
he might be
is. He's like
6'4",
almost 5'8"
6'5".
now.
Like when he's done
he's
growing.
5'8.5".
Yeah, he's 5'8.5". He's 14 years old.
Dang.
He has my
10.5 shoe.
yeah. He has my
Oh.
grandfather's frame, so he's gonna be 6'3", 6'4", maybe.
Dang.
And he's not gonna dunk.
As much sleeping.
He's not dunking a ball. I
I'm trying to
promise you
get him
that.
there.
He ain't about
I'm
to
trying to
post
get him
nobody
there.
up.
That's your oldest.
He's not about to
Yes.
cross
What about the
anybody up.
youngest?
All testosterone. He is all
He
boy.
is
He will
going
do
to
all the sports.
Be a UFC champion.
Yeah, he's the strongest.
And if he
kid on the
decides
Noah?
planet.
not to do
That's
that, he'll
Noah.
probably be a sensitive painter. This dude is the most
sensitive painter.
attuned, violent person you have ever seen. He's the most aggressive, attuned person.
Yeah.
He's like, "Argh!" Is your heart
I
okay?
brought a Band-Aid.
Is
Yeah,
your
100%.
heart okay?
Yeah.
And then he'll come and be like, "Mom, I'm just gonna kiss your face off because I love you so much."
Oh.
This is he's so
just-
loving.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And then he'd be like, "Mom, 1 or 10," and then Timmy, 1 or 10. Nathan,
He's asking the
1 or
whole
10,
house.
right? What 1 or 10? I'm always gonna pick 10, right? And then he's adding them all up to do push-ups.
Oh.
He's challenging his own
Wow.
self. Okay, you said 10, you said 5, you said 15. How many is it? 20 push-ups? Boom.
Wow.
And he'll
that.
knock him out. He's
Pushing.
testosterone. He's full
this,
of testosterone.
This dude came out of the womb with like pre-pecs and abs.
Pre-pecs.
And like
Pre-pecs.
now, so he
is all boy every
he is
bit
the
of
most
boy.
passionate person
Yeah, he is.
we know right now. Noah Samuel. He's so yummy.
Do you guys have a family day thing you guys do?
It's usually Fridays as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
No. No, is it? No.
Well, not be well,
No.
only
So
because
here's the thing,
we
right?
homeschool them. So
They're on
our
he's
nerves.
nerdy to a point, our oldest. He's nerdy to a point. He's nerdy when it's games and fun time. He's slow when it's his schoolwork.
Oh,
turtle
yes.
slow.
Yes.
Turtle
It is
slow.
like, OMGZ. So
And it's because he's a creative and school's not for
Yeah.
him. In the same way it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
He just
but it's
I told
gonna
him
be for him.
he's
gonna
but
graduate.
but he has to get a diploma. Like I have a diploma. That's,
Diploma.
a diploma.
That's
A diploma.
and when I tell you that's all I have,
He's got a day planner.
and I got it from an alternative school, because when I got to the alternative school for ditching first period 43 days in a row,
43 days
I'm a champion.
43 days in a row.
in a
So
row.
so I wound up in
What was
alternative
you
school.
The whole
doing?
semester almost.
It is.
Yeah. So I wind up in alternative school, finishing up 11th grade, and then we moved 66 miles away to a completely different city. My older brother founded a gang. That's a different story for a different day.
Wow.
But God pulled us out of a very traumatizing environment in which, had we stayed, I would have shot somebody or been killed.
Wow.
That's how bad it had gotten when we moved. And we never told our parents. So God was providential. So we wind up in Apple Valley, where Roy Rogers owns like acres and acres, right, of land.
Apples.
So cute. This is the problem. See? See?
Gets away with a lot.
You get away with a lot when you're pretty. Telling you. Ask an ugly person if they get away with anything. They don't get away with no thing, fam.
The problem is approaching the ugly person who doesn't know they're ugly. You
And being like, hey,
you must
man,
not get away with it.
I know you don't get away with nothing.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? I stole some apples this morning. So I'm literally
Ask
sitting
an
there.
ugly person.
So I have to, when I try to enroll in
Hey,
public
Ronald,
school.
you're ugly. Ronald's like, oh.
Ronald, you don't get away with anything, do you? Now that you
Wait, what are
mention
you
it.
talking about?
Now that you mention it, I don't get away with anything. All right, so we get to Apple Valley. I can't go to public school because
I'm still Ronald.
that your eyes are
I'm
glistening.
still
so
Ronald.
red.
I think we guys crossed
So red.
3 times in this
This
podcast.
is so good for
This
me.
is hilarious.
Can you come back next week at the same time? We're in the basement.
We're
Yeah,
in
we're
the
in the
basement.
basement. Absolutely.
This is true.
So I can't go to public school, so I have to enroll in private in a alternative school. I get to the alternative school and they said, "Hey, this is how many credits you have left to graduate high school." And I don't know, maybe it was like 44 credits. I don't know what it was, or 30. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
They said, here are the
college.
credits you need. Here are the credits you need to graduate. Here's how you do the work here. It's paced. Your pace. However long it takes you, it takes you. And I said, I'm sorry, what? They're like, whenever you're done, then you're done. 90 days later, I was done. I graduated high school in 90 days.
Oh my gosh.
My whole life, this is at a subconscious level, but this is why I did not respect first period, second period, third period. Like the whole structure was like, it doesn't take 9 months to read this book
Yes.
at all.
You weren't built for busy work.
I
It's
was not
trivial.
built
Yeah.
It's
for Monday
totally-
through
Yeah.
Friday, institutionalized education so I can punch a time clock. You got the wrong one, fam. I'm not the one.
Yes.
I'm not working in your cubicle. I'll start a business and you can work in my cubicle.
Yeah.
I ain't working in your cubicle.
You're coming
right?
out of the matrix, popping that
right.
off your belly button.
Right?
Yeah.
At the back of your head. And you know what I mean? The Nebuchadnezzar has to come pick me
I know
up.
Kung Fu. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Upload.
They're saying if you don't graduate, you ain't working in nobody's cubicle.
Right?
Yes.
So literally, I
Would you like
graduated.
fries with that?
Right.
I graduated high school in 90 days. Once I became a senior, they took the parameters off. I was done in 90 days. I'm certain that if I had that option when I stepped into high school, I'd have been done as a sophomore.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about getting this done so I can move on to
It's a
something else.
goal. It's like this
For
can be done in this
sure.
amount of time. However you want,
Yeah.
For sure.
slow or quick
At
you
your
want to
own
do it.
pace.
That's exactly
That's
right.
amazing.
And that's why we
Hacking education with your kids, that kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
And that's what we're doing.
That's what we did
We have them
from the
in
beginning.
it. Yeah, we have
Yeah.
them in a structure the same way. They're homeschooled, but there's no parameters on them. They can keep going as fast as they
Yeah.
want to.
Finish as much as you want.
Yeah.
And-
Dual enrollment, get some college done.
Yeah.
If that
Yeah.
clicks
plan.
at
That's the
15
plan.
or 16 for him, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think it's going to.
we're hoping the click happens.
Yeah.
You guys,
Yeah.
do you
sooner
guys,
than
so when
later.
you're all sitting
Pray
around
for
as
the
family, you
click.
play games. These are things like that you like to do.
If they're
like-
done with their work, we
Yeah.
like to enjoy them.
We like
but
to enjoy them, but
we
when
do
you
like to
wake
play
up at
games.
11,
Oh, you
okay.
can't be doing
Honestly.
homework on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. It's like
And
eat
he
that
will be.
turkey and do your math.
Yeah.
Like
And he will be.
And so literally we're the type of parents that like we don't play that like baby your kid stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll be like, hey yo, we were supposed to be going to a movie.
Mm-hmm.
We are still going.
Yes.
we are still going.
Yep.
And if you didn't get your work done,
Consequences are what they are. Yeah.
It's- it is what it
Yeah.
is.
So they feel those consequences.
Yeah,
We're
so-
those parents. They're
yeah.
gonna have therapy
The
to get over
life-
that a little bit later
the
in
life
life, but they'll be all right.
consequences is their best
Yeah.
teacher.
So do you have a game you like if you're all playing a board game or anything like that?
Monopoly.
We really like playing Monopoly with them, and it gets stressful. But we have a lot of the Monopoly. So we got like Texasopoly,
Oh.
we got LAopoly, we
Fun.
got Bibleopoly.
Ingo-
Remember that one.
We got
Bibleopoly is
Inglewood-opoly.
really dope because at
Oh, it
the,
makes you test your faith.
oh you
Oh, you are
yeah
mad.
your pride
Fun. We
yeah
should do
your
that.
ambition's gonna be
Yes.
destroyed playing Bibleopoly.
Yeah, and I mean,
If you're not
like,
about the kingdom, if you don't have a
if you're
kingdom
not
culture,
about the kingdom,
Do you instead of go to jail, like go to Abraham's
there's
bosom?
no
or like,
jail.
what happens?
You go to the abyss. You go to the
oh,
abyss.
shoot, the
and-
abuso.
Yeah,
and then when you
got
get
to
there, you're
give
like,
donations.
can you dip your finger?
Yeah, in a tip of water.
Yes.
And put it on my tongue.
Yes. You got to give your little donations, and then you have to give, right? So if you land on a property, if you give it away and sow it, you can get a cornerstone.
Oh my gosh, sevenfold.
Right, like you got, like it's
Yeah.
really biblical.
It's really biblical.
That is
Oh, yeah.
hard.
What is
and
the
you got to
one
see
that
where
the
you
kids
want to build
like?
your church
The
at.
rich dad, poor dad game?
Oh, it's Rat Race.
No,
Oh,
it's
Rat Race.
Cash.
Cash flow.
Cash
It's
flow.
it's that guy
Yeah, that one's
Kawasaki.
cool
Kiyosaki?
because it
Kiyosaki, yeah.
teaches like budgeting and
It's called cash flow.
Consequences
Cash
on
flow.
debt. Yeah, it's
Oh,
pretty
we
cool.
need
really,
that.
It's called
it's
rat.
really good.
Oh
The
yeah,
kids love it.
you have to get out of the rat race is the goal of the game.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But the name of it is called cash flow.
Yeah, it's by the Rich Dad Poor
Ah,
Dad guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kiyosaki it fascinates me because he is like, I see Kiyosaki as like the zenith of like financial advice. Right? So I'll give it to you in these tiers, right? You got like, I would say like the entry level tier is like Suze Orman. Right, like, hey, you need to like stop buying Gucci purses, right? You know what I mean? You're like, I do need to stop buying Gucci purses, Susan. Thank you, right? And then, like, after you stop buying Gucci purses, then Dave's like, cut up your credit cards, you idiots.
Yep.
What are you doing out here? And you're like, I do need to
Debt-free.
be debt free. You know what I mean? I own my car and I'm not getting another one. This 1984 Pontiac still got life in it. You know what I mean? And I can do my own transmission, right? And then you get to Kiyosaki. He's like, get in debt and own the world. And you're like,
What? Wow.
dang. Like after Susan and Dave,
Yep.
now he's like, don't use your money, use the bank's money. Get in all the debt. Buy 14 properties and let the properties pay for themselves. And you're like,
Seriously.
okay, yeah,
I can do that.
I can do that.
I can borrow the bank's money.
So get in debt again.
Well, I gotta get the credit score back up. Then,
That's
then we
it.
go.
Listen,
Yeah.
who's out there?
Oh my gosh, you guys.
You guys, this was the best time I've ever had.
Oh,
Seriously.
awesome.
Oh my
Thanks for
gosh.
letting us
This
come on
is
here and
so
just chat it up
organic,
with
yo.
you guys.
Well, and
I'm
we're
glad I
excited.
was in the basement
in the basement.
on the
With
day we hit
Luskos.
100K.
I mean, it
Yeah.
feels
With the
Yes.
Luskos. This
I
is
love
like
it.
providential. I don't see it as a coincidence. It's
Yeah.
providential.
I love it.
So
everyone
Laura's just wanted to
listening,
like kiss
get
us.
on over there and
Yeah.
subscribe and make it 300,015 at the time of this. I'm sure it's even.
Yes.
Who knows where it's at?
Who knows?
But praise God for you guys,
Yeah.
and we're
Thank
just
you.
glad you guys are out there doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Obviously, the book, "You've Upset the World,"
Yes.
is out,
Yes.
so people can get that.
Yeah, it's actually going through a reprint right now, and it's going to be re-released next year.
Okay.
So we're super excited about that.
Did you do the audiobook for it?
I did.
How was that for you?
I loved it. I got it done in 2 days, and I don't think I would want any audiobook with anybody's voice except
No, I
mine.
mean, your voice
Totally.
especially is so iconic.
Oh,
can't
thank
have
you.
someone else's voice.
Thank you.
Did you have like cut up and like improvise, or did you read it straight?
I read it straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I found errors.
That's
Oh,
disheartening.
that is.
That's
I've not made it through one
discouraging.
yet without at least an
error.
error.
Yeah,
or two.
yeah, yeah.
It's humans.
And then I was
Yep.
like, that's not the way
humans.
I would have said that. I'm like, this book is printed already? Like,
Right. Right.
I'm like,
Did you fix
This
it
is
as
already
you
in
went?
dry
I did
ink.
fix it. Like,
Yeah.
like I had somebody that like literally
They're
redlined all
sending
the
emails
stuff.
to the publisher.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
it's
They're
happening.
like, yeah.
They can get it in the reprint.
Yeah, for sure.
And what's changing with the next edition of it?
The tone's gonna be a little bit different. I switched ghostwriters.
More
I guess we're
upsetting.
talking about like really behind the scenes stuff,
Yeah.
but I switched ghostwriters, more of my voice, and not so kind of like sterilized.
Yeah.
Which voice are you going to give him? The movie theater?
Not Ronald.
No,
he can't
I
be
think
involved in
it's
that.
just gonna
The
be Hood
Batman
Timmy.
voice?
No, it's just Hood Timmy.
Oh,
Hood Timmy.
Timmy.
Yeah,
There's,
Hood Timmy.
there's Screen Timmy. Was he Flat Timmy?
Flat Timmy.
Flat
yeah,
Timmy.
yes, yep.
That's true.
Flat Timmy. Yeah, we made a whole persona for when I wasn't at church, and we just called him Flat Timmy, and they
That's
loved
true.
it. And I introduced him like he was like
This
a
is
real
true.
What do
person.
you say to the person? Actually, it was funny. I talked to someone yesterday, and they were like, "Oh, I went to your church, loved it so much, loved the vision, loved the heartbeat, but I couldn't handle the screen." You know, they were at a campus that
Yeah.
was watching screen. What
Yeah.
do you say to that person?
Yeah, I would tell that person that what you're really here for is community, right? And as a part of that community, we get a word,
Yeah.
right? And if being in a room with a person that is speaking live is your number one goal, I'm telling you now, you're going to miss the best part of his church.
Come on.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Those are good words.
That's really.
I would imagine that people getting Paul's letters could have been like, I want him to come say it to my face.
Not even here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
that was
That
flat
never
Paul
happened.
on the
Right, that
front
was-
page.
that was-
Oh, you're
that was
right.
Scroll Paul.
That was text Paul, right? Like Paul
That's
was a
true.
texter, right? You know what I mean? And so I just there's always people like that. And I think those people miss out on community because they think the main thing is hearing a live speaker. And that's not the main thing of a church.
Yeah.
It's just not.
Yeah.
Adjusting
Right?
perspective.
That's like saying I will only watch Guardians of the Galaxy if I get to see them perform it live.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
It's a
Don't
great
go
way
to
put
any
it.
don't go to any movies anymore. Ever.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's great.
Right?
Yeah, it's really
don't
good.
It's true.
don't watch any comedian on Netflix.
Yeah. Don't read a book.
Right?
Don't do anything.
Go watch Kevin Hart in person. Right? So where does that line
True that.
get drawn?
Wow.
And again,
Wow.
if that's your important thing, I think that's a stage of someone's spiritual growth.
Sure.
I think at
Wow.
a certain stage, maybe you do need the tangible.
But I will say, I don't usually hear that from people super plugged in, serving
Yeah.
in
Exactly.
groups
Yeah,
with someone
yeah.
who is just going to be coming
sure.
and going out anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Those people are like, oh my gosh, God was speaking to me through your word, and it was
Yeah.
on the screen, but it was God speaking to
For
them.
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the
Absolutely.
servants knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Servants
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh,
You
I do
guys-
want to say you have the best song to your podcast.
Yeah, the rap, bro.
Oh, thank
the
you.
rap, bro.
Thank you.
You should make one for the
You
Luskos.
do have to go
Good.
and watch the Basement podcast, if for nothing else, not the brilliant content, just the start of it.
Oh,
just,
thank you,
just
bro.
The rap.
It's
Great.
the best.
It's
So,
fantastic.
so
You need a song. Do you have a song?
I need a Lusketeers.
You need a
song.
Lusketeers song.
we
You need one for the
we need a
Lusketeers.
refresh.
I'll do it.
You should
I'll
write.
do
You
it.
should do one for them.
So I started
Welcome to the
rapping when
Lusketeers.
I started rapping when I was 9, and I started battle rapping when I was 13.
Dang.
And so doing freestyle stuff was like, I literally I made my name battling people in and around LA.
Wow.
Right. And so
Sounds like such a made up life. Like that sounds like it's like there's no way that sentence is true.
Right.
Yet I know it's true.
it's true. Okay. So I'll give you another fun fact. When I was 16 years old, I almost got signed to a label that was subsequently absorbed into what we all know to be the iconic Death Row Records.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
I dodged a literal bullet
Hello. Yeah.
by
wow.
not getting signed to that
That's
label.
mercy right there.
50
I was
caliber.
16.
A literal bullet.
A literal bullet. I was 16 years old. Okay.
Wow.
So
Probably lots of bullets.
So when we first started the podcast, and I don't know how this would come up when I was interviewing people or talking with the dwellers or whatever, or a guest, and people started like, "Oh man, you should do a rap, and I'm like, "No, like Lecrae is my blood cousin. Listen to Lecrae.
Yes.
He's a rapper. You know what I mean? This is his job,
Yeah.
right? I just used to do it, but then it went from like a gentle request to a challenge. And I was like,
I'm going to get this done in 90 days.
I'm the wrong one. Like, you don't come for, now you coming for me. And I can't let you get away with, oh, you probably ain't no good and you probably never did it for real. And I was like, So
you gave into the peer pressure.
on that one I did.
They awakened to the beast.
They awakened.
Yeah. And so I put that, like literally somebody sent me this track. I was done with that rap in 11 minutes.
Tough.
And every rap I do, I always rap it to her. And then if she says it's dope, it's dope.
Wow.
Sometimes like there'll be a line in it, she'll be like, eh. And I'm like, cause she's pretty,
Yeah.
I go change the verse. If she wasn't pretty,
Well, the kids were on there too. They were with you.
yeah, they were.
the
My
rap.
babies were there when I wrote when I performed it and did it. But it went over well. So thank you guys so much.
Oh, wow,
yeah.
it's great. All
West
the
Coast,
things.
West Coast rapping.
fun.
Something about that.
I like it.
Thank you
love
guys for having us. I mean, this was just so fun.
It's just so organic
yeah,
and
dude.
just free flowing. This is the vibe.
I didn't know the Lusketeers would actually listen this long. It's
We
awesome.
don't know.
Who knows?
We're gonna find out.
We don't even know if the cameras are turned on.
And it might not
We
be.
sit
If
here.
the mics are
They might
on.
just let us sit here for therapy once
That's
a week.
true.
It's like this isn't even a real microphone.
Tim,
It's not even plugged in.
Tim's not even uploading this to YouTube.
No, but we're like another great episode.
All right.
Really great work. Thank you so much for listening. And be sure to swing by LeviLusko.com to see what's going on in our world, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. In the meantime, we would love to connect with you on social media. Jennie and Levi Lusko, out.